That's cool. I really enjoyed that.
No, that was really good, mate.
It's good questions as well. I
already said that, and everyone took a piss out of it.
That's because you said it because it was your questions, which is not okay, hon.
We put you on the spot a little bit last time because we didn't send you the questions, did we?
Because then it's a bit like...
Put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Fuck that, they're easy fucking questions. It's not like, what's 600 times 94 minus 3 plus pi? He's just asking about his fucking cars. It's not fucking hard. It's the thing is, all his cars are fucking shit and crap and they ain't fucking fixed any of them. That's the problem. Yeah. Come.
Next time you have a cry,
working on my own car. Yeah, trot. Fucking 20 years later, all of your cars.
The Peugeot's alright.
What happened last time I tried to pay someone?
If you jiggle something about, it don't fucking work. We nearly got it stolen in freaking France by the recovery company, and that ain't changed. It's the same fucking thing.
Last time I tried to pay someone, I fucked it up.
Again, it was like, hey, you guys, I'll fix your Mercedes for you. Choke, I love candy.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. We've come to a nice...
After talking about small penises.
After small penises.
Yeah.
What was your first car?
Fiat Uno. So I worked in a garage as an apprentice mechanic and I couldn't afford a car because I got paid like 50p a year. Mm-hmm. And the car came in MOT failure, astronomical welding, bushes, everything like that. The car was probably only worth, if it had an MOT on it, 500 quid. We're talking 20-something years ago, OAP life. So the customer was like, can you just scrap it? And my boss at the time was like, well, I've got an apprentice here who needs a car. Are you okay if he fixes it on his own time? And usually the car was like, yeah, I'm not fussed. So I had a silver Fiat Uno 4-speed S. Oh, yeah. So welded it, put some bottom arms on. What did the S
stand for?
Super crappy. It had like one of those eco things, so if you don't change gear early enough, it's like screaming at you red like you're driving down economically.
Yeah.
BMW do that as soon as you look at them.
Yeah, it's the same shape as the iconic Uno Turbo. You know the iconic Uno? It's that shape, but crappy.
Yeah.
Went about 30 mile an hour. But
uneconomically as well.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That was like, I would just full send everywhere. So that's down 6x9s in the parcel shelf, stuff like that. But I blew... The cam belt snapped at 70 mile an hour going to visit an ex-girlfriend at the time in Leighton Buzzard, which leads on to a funnier story because I thought I'd run out of fuel, as you do. So we put fuel in the car, that didn't work. And I was like, well, it's still cranking, but nothing's going on. So we just moved the timing belt cover and the timing belt wasn't even there. And I was like, okay. So my mate Jake at the time had a Williams Clio.
Oh.
But it had been like played about with engine done, so it's like 180 horsepower. I mean, this thing was crazy fast.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'll take you home from Leighton Buzzard to Milton Keynes, down the A5 at 90 mile an hour, with me overtaking him. So we had a tow rope rather than a bar. So he just slowed down. So I was like, well, I'm going to drive and take you. So I got my car in front of his car, like with the nose, with a tow rope attached. So yeah, that was good times. Towing at 90, overtaking your mate, while getting towed, in the tow car. So yeah, it's good times. But yeah, it was an Uno first, which only lasted less than a year. Couldn't even afford the insurance on that. My dad had to lend me the money to buy, pay for my insurance, because standard, even back then when you were a kid, insurance was just mad money. Then I went on to a Vauxhall Nova. My dad's mate owned a Ford dealership over in March, so he'd get trade-ins all the time. So obviously I blew my car up and I needed another car. And I was like, Nova, boom. But it was like the Welfare 1.2. Again, with a crappy interior and all that sort of stuff. But it was like red. But it was only red if you polished it every week. So if you didn't polish it, it was pink. Yeah, like Supermats. And every time you polished it, you'd remove a layer of paint as well. So all your polishing rags were just red. Like your car had a period on your hand every time. So yeah, that was wicked. But then
back in the day, those sort of cars were blank canvases, weren't they? For you to add your little own.
Yeah, well, I did. I bought a Nova GTE body kit off of a mate. I actually done a dodgy deal. Someone apparently had already bought it, but they weren't there with the money. So I was like, well, here's the cash. I'll buy it off you now. So I bought it, and then when I showed off about it, they got beaten up for buying it. Like literally, my mother didn't even recognise my face. I come out of a nightclub drunk one night, and these people found me and beat me up with a maglight torch. So I mean, I was so drunk.
All over a Nova body kit.
Yeah. I mean, people are just.
He was ugly before that.
Yeah. They actually improved me. You know? So thank you for that, guys. And I went straight up the city centre the next day. and was like, oh, you didn't do that good a job because I'm still alive. Just standing cocky young twat, showing off. But yeah, so that was. I got that, which wasn't in the same colour, but it didn't matter. It had a 206 fog light in the rear bumper as well.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Brilliant.
Lowered it, just cut the springs. Had clear lights on the back, got pulled over by the cops constantly because it was pink light rather than red light, so I just used to put more nail varnish on the rear bulbs, which then used to burn off because they got hot. But that came to a demise. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, driving a girl back to Leighton Buzzard while getting a blowjob. Went upside down into a 10-foot ditch with a stream at the bottom. So yeah, that wrote that off. So the next one was a
Wrote
video.
that photo
I
off
was
as
going
well.
to say, I suppose you're still got your dick.
Yeah, she didn't bite it off, bless her. It was nice. It was nice. Didn't finish it
That
either, which was a bit
back of the throat.
yeah.
It's going nowhere near the back of the
ditch. You're going to finish it.
It's too small.
What did your insurance claim look like?
Didn't bother claiming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you've
£500
had
cars.
to draw a little picture of this.
Yeah. Didn't bother claiming again. When your car's like £500
Yeah.
and you're that young, it's not worth claiming your insurance, is it? I didn't hit anything else apart from the ditch, so I didn't cause any damage. So the boys did go and find I did hit something. You know the black and white cross-hatching signs tell you there's a sharp corner coming up. Well, that was conveniently moulded around the front of my car in the ditch, so I obviously hadn't seen that. So yeah, that came home as a souvenir. So we stripped all the parts off that, and then Jake with the Clio Williams towed me to the to the scrapyard, right? But we'd taken all the suspension off, so it was just sat. We'd taken the springs off, the shocks were still there, but we didn't bother doing the top mounts up because like, gravity will keep them in place. So he towed me with no springs in, so just on the shocks, and it would have been on the bump stops on the back to the scrapyard. We just pulled up outside. And I was like, oh, guys, do you want this car? I didn't even want money because I was like, I just need to get rid of it. My dad's going mad because it's on the drive and I've been like taking all the parts off it and stuff. So it was obviously crashed upside down, so that didn't help. So the neighbours have been like, oh, what's going on here? And the guy come out with his forklift. I was like, yeah, no worries. Lifts it up and all the wheels just go for doing. The back axle just goes for doing. We were like, quick, go. Oh dear. We just sit in the rear view mirror and we're wetting ourselves like, no way, look, it's just falling apart. And then
Carry on with your next car.
Next
then.
was a Mini, original Mini, because new
nice.
Minis weren't a thing. Plus, they're not a thing. They're BMW 1 Series is. So yeah, I had a British Racing Green Mini, which was so cool. Someone had messed about with it because it was crazy fast. Again, it was a trade-in from my dad's mate's garage. But yeah, it was just mega, absolutely mega. It handled on rails. I think I went to my first Mini show and did like £500 on the first stall on chrome. Just literally bought every accessory that you could turn into chrome on it. So I ended up putting a set of Corbu bucket seats in yellow in it. Which
What colour was the car?
Green.
Yeah, British Racing Green.
Oh, British Racing Green.
Yeah,
that would work.
keep up, man. Listen, we're
Sorry.
It's a bit warm today. It's turned off.
Turned off already, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's like,
he's having his granddad
this guy's
now.
a trainer. Yeah, let's invite these guys on. Sorry, what did you say? Turn the old hearing aid up, mate. You'll be out here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so had a set of yellow buckets on it. We used to like decorate it for Christmas, having a Christmas tree on the front grille. Yeah, spray snow on the windows and stuff. And again, that got written off, but someone drove up my arse, which isn't ideal in a Mini. We were free up, going to McDonald's drive-through where the hockey centre was back in the day, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this guy had obviously had a few sherbets and an Orion. We got to the Mini roundabout to turn right, and he decided to overtake at that point, and it's a double Mini roundabout, isn't it? And he's just caved in my rear quarter. So yeah, so that was like mullered because it don't take much to write off a Mini.
No.
And then from there, I think I got into my Volkswagens. So that's when the Volkswagen, like, German cars started.
Yeah.
And I got a Mark III Polo, which I loved, silver. I ruined that, but it was just sick. So it wasn't. It was the one they did the G40 body shell on.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't going to get G40, but yeah, I had a 1.3. Just so sick. Slammed it. I managed to. So my dad. Thought he won 50 grand on the premium bonds one year. He used to make fake ones to just pass around at work to like mug them off, just to say, oh look, I've won this money kind of thing. Well, somehow he managed to confuse winning £500 winning 50 grand. So he gave me and my brother a grand each. Well, I already knew that was going on wheels, so I spent that the day he gave it to me. So I had these wheels made in Germany, and waited ages. Went and picked them up randomly from the distributor who was driving through Milton Keynes at the motorway, put them straight on. Within a week, I'd already curbed one of them the whole way round as well. Showing off, standard. But yeah, that was lovely. Like, I went through many stages of that. I had blacked out limo tint windows all round with a crazy sound system in it. And then my boot lock failed. So I was just like, it'd be fine. And then someone robbed the whole sound system out of the boot of the car. As, problem is, we're going up the city, into the cruise. You're booming all around, being like, it's like everything's shaking.
People get to know
People
you.
get to know, and it's an obvious car. Where I lived was quite an obvious place as well. I had crazy like straight through exhaust, so I had to park it out on the road because I had to turn it off like 500 metres before I got home. It's a stealthy ninja, like, and it was so low I couldn't go a speed bump, so I just used to go up and drive along the Redway and like freewheel down the Redway. But I was coming home at like 2 o'clock in the morning every night, so it made no difference. Apart from if there was someone on the path, but yeah, so that got nicked. So then I was like, oh, I'm just going to strip it out and have it as a race car. So I took all the dash out, the seats out, everything. Did some this was when the Fast and Furious came out, so I drilled 3 holes in my bonnet. I also got pulled over for that because the traffic cop woman said, well, it's dangerous because a child could put their arm in there. I said, if a child could put their arm in there while I'm moving, they deserve a medal. Also, if you put your arm in there while I'm standing still, there's nothing to get your hand caught in because anything that's moving is underneath a cover. So you tell me what's dangerous. Oh, they could cut themselves. I was like, well, if they're going to eat the dinner, they can cut themselves with a knife as well. So they're not allowed to eat dinner. So I ended up getting let off that, and they did me a V2 for the rear lights because I painted those body colour. So I was like, they're always going to get you, aren't they? Always going to get you. That I didn't write off. That one.
This is the first one.
That actually, my dad.
It's really proud.
Yeah. I actually went and lived in Canada for 6 months snowboarding. So I sold that. My dad sold that while I was away, and I bought a friend's Mark III Golf off him.
Is this the 5-door one?
I know, tell a lie. Before that, I had a Bora. So I went from Polo to the dark blue Bora, and a dark blue TDI Bora for a while. The day I bought that, I had wheels, suspension, and everything ready to go, and put that all on the same day I bought it. So I had that for a while. Then I went to live in Canada, so sold that, bought a Mark III Golf off my friend who was the light green 5-door. 1.3.
Is that the one you put banded space savers on?
Yeah. So there's a story about those. So I'd had that car a while, and then we were going to MIVW, and I was like, we need to make a scene here. So stretched bandits were like what the cool kids were running. So I was like, right, okay, well everyone's doing 8, so I'm going to do 9.5s because I want to be cool. But what I hadn't figured out was the offset was completely wild. So I had 4.5 inches outside of the arch, like protruding.
Yeah.
So we drove all the way to Holland with these wheels on, and got the hotel, and then we ended up meeting Core, who ran MIVW at the time, at the hotel in Leiden, the night before, 2 nights before the show. So this was like the Friday night. We were just all having beers in the car park as you do, chatting, shooting the shit, and he's like, oh, man, your car's sick. I've never seen anything like this. No one's ever seen it like it because it looks stupid. But I thought it was cool. I want you to be in the show tomorrow, on Sunday. I was like, cool. And then my mate Jamesy, who I bought the car off, had got a GTI. He had a dark green version. Again, 5-door, and he had some Borbet A's on it, which looked really smart as well, like, iconic at the time. I was like, James, go get your car. So he brought it over, and he's like, oh man, this is sick too. So he's like, oh, wicked, we're very good to be in the show. We'd only had crap cars like that. We'd done like stuff to ourselves. Then your pride and joy, but like you'll go into shows and you look at these people's cars, you're like, oh mate, I want to have a car like that. I want to have a car like that. But we're like earning next to nothing in our mechanic jobs or whatever we were doing. I went for about 50,000 jobs because I was just a liability. And you're doing all these things, but you've never got any like real disposable income to buy a really nice car, or then spend the mad money that people were spending even back in the day.
And
especially Europe cars.
Yeah, and
it's their next level, aren't they?
Yeah, you go to a Europe show and it would put UK shows like.
Oh, absolutely, it's a shame. Yeah, we went with Gary Liddell used to get his haircut by you a little while ago. We went over to a Vauxhall Belgium show.
Yeah,
and. Somebody, I know there was all the smooth engine bays, hidden loom and everything, but somebody had stripped it out, put a roll cage, but then smoothed the bit where the seats used to be.
Oh, nice.
So it was all completely and utterly smooth. And it was just like, we went over in his Calibra Turbo thinking we would have shit.
Yeah.
And we just, our penises shrank as soon as you got there. Because there's like a Mark 1 Astra GTE or an Opel, and it's just, it's had 100 grand spent on it.
I know. And you're like, what?
It's just,
because of their like laws out there as well, they're so strict on what they have to do. Because even for an MOT, like they change the engine back to stock engine, MOT it, and then put a 1.8T back in it, and do stupid shit like that, don't they?
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. I'll fully get what you're saying.
Euro shows are mad. So we got to this. We drove down. We were able to go the night before to leave the cars. So they were all in the show, and we were like, cool, we were in like an aircraft hangar, and I had a straight through exhaust, so it sounded sick, and the cars looked amazing, they were all polished, But like 10, 15 metres from the entrance of this, what was an ex-military base, so it was all aircraft hangars, big like gates and stuff. There's a T-junction and a cop on a motorbike comes to the T-junction as we drive past. So my mate James is behind me. I was like, he's going to get done and I'm going to make it through. Oh no, he overtook James and went straight for me. I had fake German plates on my car that said my number plate, but they made it look like it was German plates. He obviously picked that up because he was like, well, your car's, you're trying to ride and drive a car. Plus my wheels were like 89 metres out the side of the thing. So he's pulled us over, pretended he couldn't speak English like they all do. And we were just shouting at me. I was like, mate, I don't understand what you're saying. So there's some random person was walking past. So he started doing like the translations for us. So the number one thing was he was mad about my number plates. He's like, these are illegal. I was like, I got my English ones. These are just for my show because we're going to a show. He's like, well, you can't drive out. I was like, oh, sorry. Got my real ones out. Velcro off, Velcro on. He got my metal ones, snapped them over his knee, and then put them in his pannier of his motorbike, raging. I was like, oh, I'm not getting those back then, am I? So the next thing is like, these wheels, they're illegal. I was like, thinking on my toes here. I was like, oh, these are just my show wheels. My normal wheels are back at the hotel. They're like just round there. I said, it was like 5 minutes from the hotel, right? So we were well unlucky. So through the translation, the cop wanted to just take my car and crush it. He was like, this is illegal, you can't drive it, it's not safe, we're going to take it away. And I was like, uh-oh.
This seems to be a common theme between you.
Yeah.
About a story about
French police hate us as well. So
and
I'm
English police and Italian police. And
just generally police. Just police. Sports, isn't there? So the between me, this other random guy, and the copper, we managed to negotiate. Let me in, because I'm literally, the barrier's just there. Let me in, I'll get my English wheels and put them on, and then when we leave on Sunday, it'll be okay. He's like, okay, yep, that's no problems. Didn't get any tickets or anything like that. He was like, to be fair, he would sound when he got like once we'd been let off. And at this point, I was like, oh my God, my car's going to get taken away. What am I going to tell my dad? And so we go in, I'm like, well, fuck, I need to find some wheels. So now we're like, well, we've got space savers. So it got to a point where we're like, okay, we've got to see if we can beg, borrow and steal space savers off people. Oh, there wasn't enough. So luckily there was a jumble at the show. So on Sunday morning we go to the show, and my only priority was, after being uber hungover, so we're like, oh, let's just get drunk, it'll be fine. So the night before, on the beers, yep, sweet, go to the show. My number one priority is get some wheels and tyres, whatever happens. So I'm asking anyone, even if it just got me to the hotel, because the dude said he's going to be waiting outside. So there was only one set of wheels and tyres, which was a set of Mark 1 Castellets that were for sale, but had already sold. Right. So the guy was like, oh, sorry, someone's put a deposit on and they're going to come collect them. I was like, well, if anything changes, let me know. Then people were like, well, I've got a shop, but my shop's where I can't get anything. I was like, no one had a trailer to be able to trailer me up, plus then the cop would have known. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like 2 hours before the end of the show, the guy comes over and says, oh, the dude doesn't want the wheels anymore. So boom, €400, Castellets that have been spray painted grey with some like crappy tyres on. I was like, sweet. So we're then in the middle of this show, with everyone still there, starting my car up, straight through exhaust, loud hanger. So everyone's turned up as soon as I started up to get it on these ramps. But I had to take my own ramps with me because I was running so low.
Yeah.
I had ramps with pieces of wood, because otherwise the VR6 splitter would hit the floor, or the like rear bumper would like hit the ramp. So you couldn't get onto the ramp. So it was like a whole load of jiggery pokery to try and get it on the ramps in the middle of a working show. So we must have been 100 spectators watching us change the wheels over. So then you look like the guy that's turned up with show wheels on, didn't you? Which I hate. I've never liked it. I'm like, no, if I'm having wheels, they're going on the car. Hence me driving all the way from the UK with these banded steels on. So put these Castellets on. Sweet. Drive out. The cop was waiting there.
Was he?
No.
Waiting there. Waved me on. Literally, where he pulled me over, 10 metres from the thing, he was waiting. He knew he was going to get my car if I didn't have wheels. And he knew I didn't have wheels. He 100% knew I didn't have wheels. So we're like, oh man, that's sweet. So I had my banded steels in the back, which I put on as soon as I got back to the UK, because I was like, fuck the police.
They were ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember following it, because there was nothing on the inner edge. It was just basically like, remember the old Bauer turbos, and we would just stick like skateboard trucks on. Like it was literally like that. Just everything hung out of it, like 9 inches of the 9.5 stuck out.
How much stretch was on the tyre?
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would they? 9.5?
9.5. So yeah, I'd probably run an 8-inch tyre. But the problem was that most of the tyre was outside of the arch as well. So it was just
But
obscene.
the tread needed to be covered, so you're all right.
It wasn't covered.
Was it not?
No, there was like
not even slight.
2.5 blocks of tread out of. I'll tell you, there's like 4 inches of wheel outside of the arch. So it was wild.
Brilliant.
But I thought it was sick, and it caught a lot of attention. People like this, like anything you do, even if it's not good, like just because you can doesn't mean you should. But yeah, it caught a lot of attention.
But that's where I first got to know. I've only known you a couple of years, mainly through Ollie and stuff, but that's when I started going to Hairmasters, and he was, oh, my mate Ollie, this and that. So obviously stalk your Instagram. Friends. And that's where you see the fight.
We might have wives, but we're actually the first true love.
You really are.
Yeah, 100%.
I was texting him yesterday and his wife texted back. I was like, what do you want?
Yeah, on my phone.
She was mad.
Yeah.
But then it moved on to the one that I always remember was the Bora with Volvo wheels.
Yeah. Before this, so these Castellets was actually a win. So I got a home and sold them for nearly twice the amount I bought them for, because a dude on the Isle of Wight had just had his Castellet stolen off his Mark 1. They weren't the same ones. But, so yeah, he ended up buying them off eBay for twice the amount I bought them for. And he didn't even want the tyres. So every cloud had a silver lining. That's the first time that's ever happened, like buying a modified part and selling it for more. So that was cool. Yeah, so from there then went the next, because I really love the Bora platform. It's just a Golf, but with Mina front end and a boot. And so I bought that light blue 180T. Yeah. And the 180T it's just a nice engine, isn't it? You know, once you play about with it, I put a big intercooler on it and stuff, and you get a bit of wastegate flutter. It's just an addictive. My mate Matt had a Mark IV GTI turbo anniversary, so I bought his Recaros out of his car because I can't remember, he blew it up or something, or stripped it. So I already had those for it.
Put Golf R32.
R32 seats, that's right. He managed to get an R32 interior, so I then bought his GTI seats, which
the whitey colour, wasn't it?
Yeah,
grey.
Because my Bora was just a 180T. It wasn't like they didn't do a GTI version of the Bora, so it just had like mediocre cloth seats. Some of the GTI seats there they were just plush, like Recaros. So that was cool. I hid them under my bed and in my wardrobe, so my dad wouldn't know. Because I bought them before. I knew I wanted a Bora, so I was like, well, let me buy the seats and hide those in the house. So it's sneaking in at 1 o'clock in the morning when my dad's sleeping through the house, which is comedy. So yeah, had that. Then I put a set of Audi RS6 wheels on it to start off with. I put 19s on, but I put camber shims on the back. Epic fail, because I did 1,000 miles and ruined 19-inch tyres, brand new, like with camber shims on. And I was like, I can't afford this life. So then I'm in an hour about what I wanted to do, and I found out that Volvo's got the same PCD. And they do a beautiful 2-piece BBS split. Yeah. So I was like, no one wants to pay any money for split. I can't remember. I think I maybe paid 500 quid for a set that were like brand new. Yeah. If you wanted to go buy one from Volvo, they were like 900 quid a wheel. Oh, right. So I had these BBS wheels. I was like, man, these are 6. And then I was like, let's go all out. So I had the barrels painted because they were 2-piece. You could take the face out but leave the tyre on. I didn't know, but you could, which was cool. But they had beautiful stainless steel hardware. So I had the centres painted the Scirocco like venomy green. I can't remember what my precise colour is, but that real bright lizardy venom green. And then the barrels, which was the lip as well, painted the same colour as the car. I thought it looked sick. Just slammed on the second window.
But at the time, that was the whole VW thing, wasn't it? Because people were putting a lot of Mercedes, Bentley wheels,
Land Rover,
the
all sorts.
Mercedes Alphard. Yeah, they were mega popular.
They're still one of my favourite wheels of all time.
I'd say so.
On a Mark IV Golf, they were beautiful.
Yeah,
they were so nice.
Yeah, and then after that, I then had to become an adult, so I needed to buy a house, set up my own business. So
bought a Ferrari.
That's right. Yeah. So I bought the Ferrari, aka a red Mark III Golf. It was red. It was basically a Ferrari, right? So bought that. Not going to do anything to this. Going to leave it stock within 5 minutes.
And then we went to MIBW.
Yeah, wheels, suspension, bottom of it wrapped, all sorts of stuff. That was just a TDI, wasn't it? Yeah, it was just a TDI.
And then had Ferrari stickers all over it. Everybody.
But you'd meet new people, like, especially at European shows, and they'd be like, oh, I was like. I wouldn't say it. The guys would be like, I'm coming to Ferrari. So people genuinely think I've got a Ferrari. Bear in mind, I look like this, right? So, and younger, like, they're like, you coming to Ferrari? So then you take them over. You're like, no, it's a fucking Mark III Golf with Ferrari stickers on. They're like, who's this cunt? It was comedy, wasn't it? We had so many people with it as well. So that was cool. We enjoyed that. Did we do?
Then the Bugatti.
Yeah, so then next thing I got was the Bugatti. So then when you tell people you've got a Bugatti, they think you're Andrew Tate, but without the freaking misogyny going on. Like, Jesus Christ. So I had a Octavia Estate in like dark blue. Basically, my dad's girlfriend's ex-husband died and left his whole estate to her. And one of these things was this Octavia Estate. And I think the Mark III was... the Mark III... I just wanted something that was not modified anymore because I was doing a big commute. So I was like, I want to stand an Octavia Estate. So I sold my Mark III to Matt, who I'd got the interior off of. Because it was so low, less than a year later, he's like loads of speed bumps. Everything was just worn out, so the whole car just basically fell apart where we scraped it on the ground so much. So I bought the Octavia. I didn't actually modify it.
No, that was.
I had to put a new turbo on it because it done like 70,000 miles in 20 years. So it'd been nowhere. So I had to put a new turbo on it. I did.
And then you sold it to Sis Sisters, didn't you?
Yeah, sold it to Sis Sisters. But yeah, so I went from the Octavia was sweet. Did me like a year and a half. I met my wife now in it. Like she did. We were a place called Skeg Vegas, Volkswagen Air Cooled show.
And he's like, I've got a Bugatti, and she's like, clothes off.
She wouldn't know the difference between a Bugatti or a Skoda. To be fair, she does not care about cars. She was only there because her friends were camping next to us, and yeah. She was like, I think she liked me more because I didn't have a nice car, so she didn't think I was a dickhead. Because that was her a vision of people with nice cars. Yeah, little did she know.
She thought you weren't a dickhead.
The thing is, I've kept her on roofies ever since, so she hasn't got a clue what's going on.
So why was this called a Bugatti?
Because it was blue.
Oh, okay.
Ferrari was gold because it was red, so I was like, what are we going to call this one? The Bugatti. So, but yeah, it was good getting people's reactions because as soon as someone said I got Bugatti, people just thought you were an instant tool, didn't they? Like,
I mean, you were.
Yeah, I was. They knew that. Yeah, but like it's mad people, and then you take them over, and they're like, aha, you guys are funny. Yeah, the Ferrari thing and the Bugatti thing, because you're running in circles of normal people with Golfs and things like that. As soon as you say, genuinely, like all of the boys would back me up. He's got a Ferrari, no, he's got a Bugatti. You know, like they'd say it rather than I'd say it. So these people just instantly like. They got their backs up about you know, and it's like, man, why can't you just be happy? I mean, I don't have one. That's not the point. But so yeah, that was funny. So then got rid of the Bugatti and got the Amarok.
Oh, I forgot about the Amarok.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. So I was under an R-in. I've been working really hard. I bought my house, and I wanted to get back into modifying cars again. You know, I'd run the Bugatti for like a year and a half. And it served me well, and it got me to
I love the fact it still
we didn't call it anything else, did we? So, yeah, I was like, do you know what? And I wanted the Passat CC at one point, but then I was like, I don't really know. It's been done and stuff. I was like, no one's doing an Amarok at the moment. And I had these grand plans, so got the Amarok, and I was hunting around. I don't like something that's just normal, so I found they did a Canyon edition. They did 1,000 of them. Or 500 of them, but then they did an orange one. They only did 50 of, so it's like a burnt metallic orange. So I was like, I need one of those in my life. So one came up, one owner, low mileage, and it had a beautiful like grey and orange leather interior, baseball stitching.
Oh, nice.
Big full massive lights on the roof, nice like bars on the rear, like roller shutter thing. It just looks sick. 6-speed TDI, couple hundred horsepower. Manual I wanted. They do an auto, but I was like, I'm just not a fan of auto boxes. And my theory on autos is it's just more to go wrong. Not that they're like crap boxes. An Amarok's not a race car, so it don't matter. But like as a driving feel, I'm a manual guy anyway. Even in a performance car, all of my old man's Porsches have been PDK, which I enjoy, but I love the manual. You just get so much more from it. So anyway, got the manual Amarok, and I was like, right, game on, let's go. So I managed to get a set of Recaro CSs out of 2 different Lotuses, because I was like, I don't want to pay, like, everyone wants C money for nice seats and stuff like that. We'll get onto those, because I'm paying C money now for car seats for a Porsche. But managed to get a pair of those for super deals. There were 2 different colours. It didn't matter because I knew I was going to get them trimmed.
Retrimmed, yeah.
So got them trimmed to match the exact interior. So as far as anyone else was concerned, it came with those seats. You know, you see the Urban Defenders, the earlier ones, that had CSs in. It looked like that. They were mega, but I had to, like Gary from GM Bodycraft had to do a lot of fabrication, getting the runners and stuff. We had to put them on like different risers and things like that. But they had body coloured backs, so the backs of the seats were done orange, and a few other bits and pieces of trim in there, which looked really smart. Had it jacked up on the low lift kit, not the high lift kit. So they did a body spacer. So the body spacer lifts you up about 60 mil, 40 or 60 mil. I can't remember one or the other. But just jacked it up enough. It levelled the front out because they run a rake because it's supposed to be
that's what you need to do
a truck that carries stuff in the back of it, but all mine carried was feathers, car cleaning products. And so I had that done, and then got some steels, black steels for some big ass chunky off-road tyres, BF Goodrich, like white writing on the outside, which looks sick. Then I got Deutsch Tech. Shout out to Deutsch Tech. Ben and the boys down there to do some wicked fabrication. So I had some custom side steps made with Amarok cut out in the side, but they were like the full length of the side of the truck, so you could use them to step in and out of the car. 'Cause it just had like tubes before there weren't steps, just to look like rock sliders. Then they made me a spare fifth wheel like roll cage thing on the back to hold a spare massive steel, and it just looked mega. It looked like something you was going to go do a zombie apocalypse.
I think my favourite thing about that was the boot lid.
Yeah, so I had high and low. Anyone that knows Volkswagens, Mark 1 caddies, tailgate, Volkswagen embossed in the back, but they're all beaten up. And anyone that's got one that isn't beaten up you've got to remortgage your house to buy it. So I made. Again, you just search and search and search. When you want something, you just keep searching for it. I found a decent tailgate. Guy in Northampton wasn't close.
4 or so engines.
Yeah, because I kept buying them, and
brand new ones.
Yeah, and they turn up damaged. Like Heritage was selling them brand new
Shimura
for like
jumped on them, like
£1,000. So I thought, okay, well at least now I've got one that's I know it's mint, because it was become like I was like I want to just get it done. When I decided I want to do something, I just want to do it.
Yeah.
So got a tailgate on the 4th attempt, and then Gary from GM Bodycraft fabricated it into the back of the truck.
Oh wow!
And it looked stock.
Yeah,
it really did.
I don't know if you've seen the new Amaroks now, which is the Ford, but they've got Amarok embossed into the back. So I think Volkswagen actually owes me a bit. Because they were like, this guy knows. So then people do a lot of fiberglass versions of it, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't many people that have done the steel, because it's a mission. Once Gary got into it, there's all these like strengthening
There's loads of bits
and stuff. And it's also getting the door locking mechanism to work and stuff like that, because I had the handle taken off at the outside, so it smoothed off. So
have you got pictures of all your cars?
Yeah.
Can you send me that?
Yeah.
Because
well,
I need
all of
to.
them up until. I mean, the early ones I probably won't have pictures of. Prez might, because he was a little bit of a pedo when it comes to taking photos and everything.
Yeah, but he didn't take pictures of cars, it was just kids.
Yeah. Kids and his mum naked again. So yeah, Amarok was sick. Then I was like, right, the scratch is like really serious. Grew up in the 80s and 90s, bad boys. First time I'd ever seen a 911, 964, I was like, I'd always been a Porsche fan guy. Watching endurance racing, always watched the Formula 1. One of the companies my dad's works for had a box at Silverstone, like at the pit entrance. So I've seen Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna coming into the pits and stuff like that. So I actually watched the Formula 1 this morning and built the Mansell winning Williams Lego Formula 1 car while watching the Formula 1, which actually was more exciting than the race. I'm a big Lego collector too, so I buy everything that's a car in Lego.
You buy everything 2 or 3 times, don't you?
Yeah, we've got to have some to keep in a box and then one to build. At the moment, it's just everything's in a box. I've actually, in our new house, had the dining room turned into my Lego room. So I've had it painted all Lego colours. So each wall's a different colour for the Lego colours, the full Lego colours. I've had Lego logo painted on the wall, and I've got industrial
How much roofies do you give your missus?
Lots. Mate, we moved into a new house, and all I wanted was a double garage. We had a single garage. There wasn't even a garage. Like, she got the garden, she got the kitchen, she got this, I got nothing. So I was having a Lego room, and I built a triple garage in the garden as well. So yeah, I've got a triple, oversized triple, so 6 metres by 9 metres, 3 roller shutters, oak slate roof. Yeah, it's lovely. It's nice. Well, I wanted to future-proof it. Obviously, work, I have a lot of tools and stuff, so I need storage for that, but I don't just want to own one nice car. As I go on, I want to own more nice cars. So it's nice to get something different and be able to then be like, oh, I've got something to store at home. Paying storage for places is just an inconvenience, because you've got to go to the storage facility once you agreed. And British weather, it could be like it is today, 23 degrees outside and sunny. Tomorrow it's peeing down with rain. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I want to go get it today, but then you've got really storage people, and it costs you a fortune as well. You know, the amount you spend on storage for one car over 10 years, you'd be able to build a triple garage. So the Amarok was cool. Sold that to a exclusive competition company who gave it away twice, I think. They bought it back off.
I remember seeing it on one of the competitions.
Yeah, the girl that owns it now is Sound. She's done her own bits and pieces to it, and it's been featured now as well. I didn't get it featured or anything. I don't do it for that sort of jazz. But it's been featured in PBW.
Didn't you have featured one? Oh, no. No, the first feature, and it was the first time it'd gone off-road.
Yeah, I didn't take off-road. Upper Kirk, maybe. Yeah, we went up to Woburn, didn't we? No, up to the woods. And then, it was like the Porsche thing was like scratching it. So I decided I wanted a Porsche. Couldn't buy the Porsche with the truck, so I had to sell the truck. And in that time, COVID happened. So I was like, what's going on here? But fortunately for me, landscape gardener, I was one of the people that was done really well out of COVID, because everyone was at home, still earning loads of money but not being able to spend it. and then they're sat in their gardens, like being like, "Oh, I need a nice place." So I think that's really helped people understand that having a nice garden is beneficial to your life. Like, there's nothing better on a weekend like today, being out in your garden and just enjoying it. So business got crazy busy. So I started off wanting a Porsche, and then I wanted a nicer Porsche, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll get a 964." Back then, they weren't as expensive as they are now. Then I was like, I like European drive-in. I want something maybe a little bit more reliable than a 30, 40-year-old car. So then I was like, I want a 997. So I was like, I'll get a GTS maybe, or a C2. And then I was busy, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a turbo. And then I was like, oh, mate, we're getting a turbo. Once you decided you're getting a turbo, like, it's hard to. I went and saw a few. I really wanted a bright one. So I drove a speed yellow 997 turbo, but cab. In. Now, you'll know why I didn't buy it when I tell you where it was advertised. It was in Birmingham.
Yeah, it says it all.
I turned up, the car was outside, hadn't been cleaned, there was a crack in the windscreen, the ceramic brakes that it was advertised with were red calipers painted yellow with steel brake discs. So to make it look like it had ceramic brakes, but the paint was all chipping off. So instantly I knew I wasn't going to buy it. Went up with Matt. I mean, we were in the hood as well, so I was like, oh my God. So went up there, instantly I was like, well, I'm wasting my time coming up here, so let me waste this dude's time. Went out for a ride in it. It was auto, but I was like, at that point, I was just trying to find a bright 911 and it didn't really matter. And I was like, well, I can always manually convert it. Not having a clue that it would cost me $1 billion to do that. So we went out for test drive. I was like, this is sick. It was like a rocket ship. The dude drove it like he'd stolen it. And then it was like supposed to have full service history. It didn't have any service history. And the only service history that it did have from Porsche came out and had all these red flags on it. I was like, have you done anything? He's like, nah. Like, they just didn't want to sell it. So I was like, okay, sweet. So long story short, top 555, had a 997 turbo, 2006, so like one of the first. Guards red. I was like, fastest colour. That's 50 horsepower straight away.
Yeah.
Thing was amazing. So I'd seen it come online. They obviously put it on that afternoon or evening, and I'm there checking every night in bed, like checking. So I sent them an email. Hi, interested in the 997 turbo. Can we have a discussion? Charles, one of the owners of it, he emailed me back first thing in the morning. Hi Ollie, what are your options? I was like, oh, can we have a telephone conversation? So he rang me up. We chatted over the phone, negotiated a price dependent on me getting it inspected and also me coming to view it. So he was like, yeah, sweet, no worries. No, he didn't. Tell a lie. I've got jumped ahead here. He sent me a video. So what he did, we had a conversation and I ummed and I was like, okay, I need to figure out work so everyone get up to come and see it. So he sent me, he got it out. It was a sunny day in September. Took it out of the showroom, put it in the sunshine in their parking lot, did a walk around, personalised video to me. I rang him straight away. Can I put a deposit on it? Like, he knew what he was doing. Yeah. He knew what he was doing. I was like, man, it was just almost like sex. I was like, oh my God! This thing was immaculate. So, managed to negotiate, got up there like 3 weeks after putting a deposit on, which was really cool. I'd had an inspection done in between that time by the Porsche inspectors, local company, that go and do a pre-purchase inspection of the car, so they check it all out. They know more about it than I do, so I didn't know enough about Porsches at that time, and I didn't want to spend that kind of money on a car and not get it. But I mean, I was getting cars inspected by the AA when I was buying Volkswagen Borers, so peace of mind, did that. It actually turned out the car, there wasn't anything that would have made me not buy it, but anything that was found, they did. So it was a Scottish car originally, so it had quite a lot of surface rust on the underside. They're like, oh, we sell a guy in the Cayman Islands, 2 cars every year, and I've got a guy that like cleans them all up and wax oils them. So we'll get that done for you. The dude, anything he couldn't clean, just took off and replaced with Porsche parts. So there's like loads of like strengthening bars and stuff like that. The bill comes to $2,500 they ended up paying. Charles was like, mate, he wasn't supposed to go this wild, but it's too late once he'd done it. Like, I think he gave him too much of an easy brief and stuff. Yeah. And then things like an interior light didn't work and just nothing major. There wasn't any bodywork that needed doing or anything like that. It's all original paint. So yeah, that started my Porsche journey. So I went up there with my wife and stuff, and yeah, picked it up. It was just a surreal moment, like buying a car like that. Like you never thought you'd be able to own it as well. It was like sick. So yeah, that was cool. And then that's when the journey started. I was like, I ain't gonna modify this. I ain't gonna do that. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, suspension from Deutsche Tech again. Put a set of Bilsteins on it for me. That needed it though. Yeah, they sit so high. And then we were going to Cafe in the Machine. And I said to the wife, I'll get out and I'll do some drive-bys up and down. It sounded like a freaking hairdryer. I was like, well, we did an exhaust then, didn't we? So Ben made a custom catless exhaust on it. Oh my God, it sounded sick. Spits flames. It was just mega. So yeah, that was a big thing. Because then you get the real ambience and the theatre of driving
Yeah.
a sports car. Set of wheels, managed to get a luck out on those. So BBS are known for being a nightmare to get hold of.
Yeah.
If you want a brand new set, you've got to wait bajillion years, and I'm not a bajillion wait kind of guy. So everyone that I know knew I was looking for a set of E88s for it. So as soon as a set come up off a 997 on Facebook Marketplace, I had someone message me and be like, go get these.
Yeah.
So I rung the guy up, be like, I'll come today, cash. He's like, sweet. So drove 2 hours in my van, picked up the wheels, because now I've got them, and I've Voodoo Motorsport have redone the wheels for me. So Voodoo Splits Ellie over there, they've redone the wheels once, and I've just taken them back to have some new dishes on, because standard aluminium dishes, they're great when you've got to polish them. I ain't got time for that. I've not got time for that. I mean, I'm good with wheels, I'm good with cleaning, aka getting someone else to detail it for me, but I'm like, it's just long. So he's got some Radnox dishes on his Peugeot, which is stainless steel.
Yeah.
So I've just said, just put some stainless steel dishes on there. Then all you got to do is literally look at them and they're clean again. So rather than being like getting the drill out, polishing them up and stuff like that. So yeah, wheel suspension, exhaust, had some interior bits done, and then I was like, we need more power. 480 brake just isn't enough. Going from a car that was a truck with like 200 horsepower that I'd had mapped and an exhaust and stuff put on the AMROC to the 911. It was just worlds apart. But it's mad how quick you get used to power. Like, within 3 years I'd gone from 480 to 600 horsepower. But it was just a rocket ship. I mean, 480 is plenty. You don't need any more than that.
Yeah.
The car drives amazingly with it. But that oomph you get from a bit more, and it's so addictive as well. Hence having more horsepower with the engine upgrade. Because if you're going to do all that, you might as well have a few extra
Do it
horses
proper.
in it. Yeah. And the thing is, you don't have to use it all. So, if you on a B road, you can't use 750 horsepower on a B road that often, like full in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're off into the ditches. So, yeah, it's gonna be cool. So I've got a mate Matt who owns a company called MPH Trim over in the Cotswolds. He's a Porsche trim specialist. I managed to acquire some carbon folding buckets, which were an option in the 997s, but not when mine was made. I think like later when they did the GT2s, you could opt into them. So I've managed to source a set of those, and he's just trimmed those. So I'm having a full black and red Alcantara trim to like do the the GT2 style,
Yeah.
but like just more. But they call it dog dick red is the colour they call it, because it's like when they got their little pencil
They got their
out.
lipstick out.
Yeah, the lipstick out. Yeah. They call it that colour. So it's the red Alcantara everywhere, and it looks sick. So I've got a half cage in it. We took the rear seats out. Matt put the cage in for me, which was just something I couldn't do, because you've got to do like little bits of trim work here and there, cutting around carpet and stuff. And I'm like, if I can't do it with a hammer, I'm not good. Basically. I've got the finesse of a donkey. Yeah, exactly. So he comes in and got all the tech, so he put the cage in for me, which was like mad. It's like a Meccano but with no instructions. So I had that painted guards red. So it's going to be a sick interior, but he needs to where we just taking the seats out, the seat belts are still in there. So he's going to trim, cut all the bracketry off that has the seats in there, like a GT2 would have or a GT3.
Yeah.
And do rear seat belt delete and stuff like that, just so it looks nicer. But yeah, we're going to Alcantara everything. Dash, the cage. He reckons he wants to Alcantara the cage, which would be sick. So it'd be a real nice piece. Hoping to get that done this year, but because depending on the timescale of when the car's done, it's like, am I going to drive it or am I going to put it back into the trim shop? So the seats are done because I bought those separately to the car. So I'm going to put those in as soon as it's back, and then as and when he's got availability and I've got spare time in the car, then it'll be going in for a full.
Have you got an ETA for the car?
Well, they said 12 to 16 weeks. They had it the second week of Jan. It's probably a little bit slower, as these things always are. So I'd like to take it away when I go away in May to drive the Black Forest, but I don't want to take it if I haven't driven for 500 miles beforehand, because it's just like we've been on Euro road trips before in friends' cars, and they put the engine in the day we're going.
Yeah.
Like in the morning we're putting the engine in, we're driving to the ferry on the afternoon. So, and it only leads to catastrophes. So, and I don't want that to be a case, because it just spoils the trip, especially for the other people as well. So Dad's got a couple of nice cars, and so we can always go in there. So it's not a major issue, but be nice to get it done sooner or later. But I mean, I started it in the winter in anticipation of getting it done ready for summer.
Yeah.
So there's a few shows I've got booked in for this summer. Players, we're doing. It might even be an unveil first show at Players, which would be cool.
That'd be epic.
So yeah, the big
I look forward to seeing
a nice stage Goodwood for an LS twin turbo 997, which will be noisy as well. I've got a couple of the wastegates. They were going to return them into the exhaust. So we don't need that. We need them coming out. So I've got the wastegates coming out below the exhaust underneath the rear bumper as well. So because I've got the GT2 rear bumper, the exhausts come out like
Come out slightly angled.
yeah,
don't
like
they?
a 30-degree angle out the vents at the back as well. So and then the screamer pipes off the wastegates are coming out just below that as well. So technically, we're going to have, instead of 2 sets of flames, we're going to have 4 sets of flames coming out. So it's like even more theatre as well. Yeah, and the noise from the wastegates is going to be loud too. So because they're literally just venting into air now rather than recirculating it. So yeah, we've got hopefully Ram Air are coming up with some filters as well, because it's mad how much air displacement needs to happen from the 997, which was a 3.6 litre engine, up to a 5.3 litre with bigger turbos.
Yeah.
Like the filter that you had on the 997 was a panel filter, probably half the length of this table and about 6 inches tall. You've got to have like twice the size of filters now because of the amount of air going in. So it's all about just trying to package that up so it works, because last thing you want is all this engineering and money going into something and then just sucking warm air in, because you're just killing everything, aren't you? So I've already had upgraded intercoolers on the 997 anyway, so I've got DL88 intercoolers, so we've been able to use those on the new build, which is cool. And the stock transmission, which I said they've got an adapter plate they've done off the LS onto the stock transmission, so I can keep the four-wheel drive. So from the outside and the inside, you won't know it's got a V8 in it. The only way you're going to know is I'm having a custom badge made for the back of it. So in the same font it says turbo on the back of the 997, so I'm having turbo LS done.
That's awesome.
And if anyone's ever looked into having custom badges made, holy Jesus, most people want minimum of 10 and it's like £750 for tooling. I was like, I'll just keep my stock badge, thanks. But a lovely girl called Kat, goes by Kat the Machinist on Instagram, works over at Bista, basically fabricating parts for old race cars.
Right.
And she gaslights on the side, doing sort of moonlights on the side, should I say, doing some. So she's actually just done a custom plate for my mate Matt, who's doing the trimming for his trim shop. So you know you can emboss like the car.
Did you get it on Instagram this morning?
Yeah. So she's just done one for his logo.
Yeah.
So he can put his logo into people's interiors as well. So yeah, she's pretty talented. So she's going to do me a custom rear badge for the back, which I think I'll probably get either painted black or the same colour as I've got BBS gold on my splits, which would be cool. Just a nice subtle nod to the fact it's got something different in there, but not like, I've got an LS, wearing a cowboy hat and Daisy Dukes. Yeah. I do that at the weekend anyway.
Obviously, they're going to know when you start anyway.
Yeah. As soon as you hear it, you'll know. Like turning up to the first Porsche event, people are going to be like, what's that? That's not okay, hon.
With the pitchforks and the flames.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But it's going to be a naughty car. I'm looking forward to it. So and it's good. Like it will nearly be 2 years since it's been off the road as well. So it's a long time without having that pride and joy. But at the same time, like I said, moved house, got married, set up a wife's business, bought a new house. Like there's been a lot going on. So really, it kind of worked well because I spent all my weekends and evenings doing car stuff.
Yeah.
So the distraction was taken away at the right time to enable us to move forwards with future lifing.
What is your money no object 5-car dream garage?
F40, 100%.
Okay.
959.
Yep.
964 turbo.
Bad boy style.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it black though, because I don't like black cars. They just look too dirty.
I personally think Porsche should be red, guards red as well. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah, or I'd get a 964 turbo and just full send on it, just to really, really hate the purists.
See, I've got my favourite Porsche colour, or my favourite car colour in the world is a Porsche colour.
Yeah.
It's macadamia metallic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a friend with a 997 turbo cabin one. It's in the sun. You're hard to beat it. It's beautiful.
I think a 964 in that colour would be
something like race car. Like it'd be nice to have a 917. Because there's a few road legal versions of those about.
Shit, that would look good going down the road.
Mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a friend with a GT40, but a reincarnation. So I said like one on an original chassis that they then and we went to Le Mans Classic with that, going through rural France with a GT40 following you.
Yeah.
People just lose their shit.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
It's like 7 litre V8, like no baffles on it or anything. It's just insane. It was raining, so it was aquaplaning everywhere. So I was like, you're gonna die. But yeah, that is sick. And then last, I don't know. It's hard because you kind of want something that's like new and like gnarly, but I'm not really a Pagani guy or anything like that. They're a little bit too spaceshipy for me.
And you've had a Bugatti, so...
Yeah, I've had a Bugatti.
Scratch that age.
Yeah.
You are listening.
See? Woke up for that bit. I don't know, I like a really, really beautiful 1.8 turbo Mark 1 Golf like in the collection. Like sick.
Nice.
Like, I'd always wanted a Mark 1 Golf, couldn't afford one, or if I would have had one, it'd been crappy. So like a real like, do you know Greg Howell? So painter Greg Howell, his Mark 1 Golf was insane.
Yeah.
Like the hours he spent welding all the insides of the bonnet up and stuff like that, and it got shipped around the world to shows and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Things like that, like would be something like that, like just a show prepped Mark 1 Golf, but I'd obviously just send it everywhere because I just drive everything. Like my theory on like seat covers and steering wheel covers and stuff is like not fucking your wife and saving her for the next guy. And what's the point? What is the point? Drive it. Like my car.
I love that.
When I got my car, when I got my car, my Porsche, and it done 20,000 miles and come out of a collection. The guy had just upgraded his collection, so he found a GT3 Club Sport that he wanted to replace the turbo with.
Yeah.
And it had hardly been used for like 5 years and stuff. And I'm like, it's a sacrilege. I did 20,000 miles in 3 years as a Sunday car.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I work pretty much every day.
Yeah.
You know, if I get a chance, it's an evening or a weekend drive. You know, 20,000 miles in a car, that's like that is good going in 3 years compared to. It had done 20,000 miles in 16 years previous to that. That might be one of the reasons it's blown up. And also, I drive it like I stole it everywhere. But why like put these things on pedestals? There was a 997 4-litre RS in top 555. Never been driven. £500,000. If you drove it, you'd lose 100 grand on it.
Yeah.
As soon as you drove it, you'd lose 100 grand on it. Mate, that's the sort of thing I'd go and buy if I won the lottery. Just drive it.
It's like it's similar. Before we started this, our mate Dave was here. He was showing us an Escort Cosworth that sold a couple of days ago, 202,000 quid, and it had 2,000 miles on the clock, and that was a 1993, 94 car, something like that.
Yeah, the reconditioning you'd got to do to that car to get it to be able to drive now. You know, it's crazy. So someone I know bought a 918 Spider. He bought it second hand of one owner. First owner, never driven it. Done 72 miles, delivery miles on it. Had to have a £9,000 service to recommission it at Reading to get it onto the road.
It's just sad, isn't it?
Like tyres. You needed 4 new tyres because the tyres aren't any good anymore. You know, it's just crazy. Like,
what waste as well, though, for that
massively.
person?
You know, but Reading said to him, if you do less than 1,000 miles a year, it will still keep its value. Because you're talking like £1.2 million car, which is now like £1.5 million. I think it also, like, your mentality changes depending on your ability to buy. So, yes, I've bought a Porsche, but I couldn't go and buy 5 more. So, my opinion is drive it because it's the only one I got.
Yeah.
Right? But if you've got 20 million quid in the bank and you spend £5 million on cars, you're going to buy investment cars. You're probably going to do more sensible things because you're more savvy with money. I'm getting my money, earning it, and buying a car with it.
Yeah.
I'm not getting my money, investing it, and having a pension pot that I'm not even going to live to see probably. So I think the difference, we're so quick to like give your opinion on how things should be like this thing. It's like not fucking your wife and saving it for the next guy. I can understand that to a certain degree if you've got a collection of cars because. Like Bernie Eccleston.
Collection of wives.
Yeah, they know how to do it in the UAE, mate. You know, you don't wear them out, they do. Don't have kids, mate. They never get worn out then. That thing's tighter than a nun's. And think how much more money you got as well. And even if you ask for extra stitches, mate, it's the same. I don't know that, but I guarantee you there's friends that do. So yeah.
Bernie Eccleston.
Yeah, Bernie Eccleston's collection. He's not adding extra just to make him tight. He's already tight. That's why he's a billionaire. But he just sold his £500 million kind of secret F1 collection to
and the Hartley family are going to get a mega commission out of that.
Well, obviously, yeah. But to Mateschitz, who's the heir to the Red Bull thing. But like that, you've got bajillions of pounds. You can afford to have these cars that are ex-F1 race run cars that aren't getting seen, aren't getting driven. It's a shame they're not getting seen, which is what Mateschitz is going to do. He's going to open a museum with them. But you know, just general cars. Like there's I can't remember, somewhere in Wales, I think this guy's just opened his own museum under a charity because I think it's probably a tax thing. But he's got nearly new or delivery miles, but everything, M3s. You know, loads of random Ferraris, loads of Porsches and stuff like that. So he's just acquired this collection because he's obviously been successful in life. And I'm like, well, you know, he's probably driven every car he wants to drive anyway. So why not? If you've got this ability and money to be able to do that, and it's your passion. Let's face it. If I had untold amount of money, I'd have an untold amount of cars. It's just how I already planned like. Oh, if I won the lottery, I'd extend the house and have garages and have like 3 cars on a lift in this bit and stuff. Like you dream of these things to be able to do it. So I think you live and your opinions on things are in your own circumstances.
Yeah.
Because you don't know any different. You know, if you won the lottery and you had 100 million quid, I guarantee you'd be buying cars that you're never going to drive because you're like, oh, that's the rare, and if you've been successful in business, I think probably even if you're a lottery winner, you do have a different opinion, because if you've won the money, it's definitely different to earning the money.
Earning the money.
You know, if you've worked your whole life, sold businesses, done well, made big businesses, retired, you know, you've worked a long time to earn a lot of money and done well and been a lot like stressful. I don't employ anyone because I don't need the stress. So I just work alone. I do what I can do. I'm never going to be rich, but I find my life work stress balance is what I need. I don't need the stress. Just life stressful enough with all the extra stuff that goes on around it, let alone bringing extra stuff into it. So I'm never going to be that guy that's got a multi-million-pound business that can sell it and stuff. But I'm happy with that. You know, I'd like to buy another car. So I'd have an air-cooled 911 that's maybe a convertible. All my dad's cars have been convertibles, and it's something really nice about driving around the mountains or just driving on a Sunday cruising
with the roof down.
With the roof down, wind in your hair, and just being able to see everything. You see so much more in a convertible than you do in a coupe.
Yeah.
So much more, especially in the mountains. Like, yeah, and plus when you're driving, it's harder because you try not to crash. So yeah, I think what you need to be in life is happy with what you've got. If you're constantly chasing, you're never going to be happy because you're always chasing the next thing.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I'm super content with like just having one Porsche. A lot of people always ask me, "Oh, what are you going to get next? What are you going to do?"
To be honest with you, that's the next question. What would you get next?
Yeah, that's it. An air-cooled 911, probably a cab, you know, because I just like something that's not 750 horsepower, and just an enjoyable, nice drive that I can take to different shows as well. Like, I'll say you want to modify it. Stick a set of wheels on it. It really, really brings out curves of 993 or a 964, and it just looks cool rather than just a stock one. 'Cause stock, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful cars, but I'm not a stock guy. I've never been a stock guy, so
I think lowering anything makes it look better.
oh
doesn't it,
mate,
really?
yeah, 100%.
Everything looks better.
Everything looks better.
Yeah, even like an Amaroks, I almost decided to go the other way because there's a few guys in the States that slam Amaroks.
Yeah.
So I nearly did that, but then it's just a whole load of work, and I'm like, mate.
Kind of like Raven Hydraulics, back in the day, Slammer
that was
Rock.
cool. Yeah, hydraulics was mad. So yeah, I think people are too like it's taken a lot of time and effort and work to get into a position where I am now. Then to blow the bloody thing up, it's just like Jesus, and then to be able to find the money to then spend half as much again on getting it to where I want to do, and people will say, "Well, it's not worth it." It isn't worth it because the car is only worth as much as basically
But it's worth it to you.
I'm paying to get the engine installed, right? But yeah, it's my car. I love it. It was never a car I was going to sell because it's my first Porsche. So circumstances aside, yes, things will change, but as long as life carries on the same trajectory it is, it's my Porsche. I want it to be my Porsche because everyone was saying, "Oh, if you're not going to change the engine in it, just part it out," because I had quite a lot of nice parts and stuff, and you get crazy money for Porsche parts, and then just buy another one. It wouldn't be the same. It would never feel the same as my first Porsche. So I was like, do you know what? It doesn't matter that it's costing me more probably than the car's worth by the end of it. I'm going to have my car that's different.
And how unique is it going to be as well? That's the thing.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like that's another thing. It's going to be like like being one of the first out there as well. It's going to be so unique that it's that one-off kind of.
I mean, it's beautiful before, and you could go to any car show and people would look at it.
Yeah.
But now you're going to turn up and people are going to make a beeline to go and see it.
It won't take long before people figure out it's not a normal 997 turbo, even though it looks it within reason, apart from all the other modifications.
I think you should stick a microphone on it the first time you unveil it at a show or something like that, because you'll get the guys to be like, "Oh, that's sick." Then you'll get the purists going, "Oh, hang on, do you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
It would be really cool
guys
to
have a
do.
GoPro under the engine, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is this," and people get it completely wrong.
If I can find somewhere to even I'm not a spoiler up wanker, but like if I lift the spoiler up, I could like stick it under the back of that.
Yeah.
Great, wouldn't it?
For instance,
It would be amazing just to
With,
hear,
like, a GoPro in the
the
rear of it.
reaction
Yeah,
of what that car gets.
I can't believe she's put a V8 in a Porsche out of a fucking Chevrolet.
No, it's a funny thing. Like, you go to Cafe in a Machine, and the one thing I love to do is just look at the cars and appreciate them for what they are.
Yeah, because they're all different.
You can't help but overhear conversations when you're at a show like that. And
the people that know everything
somebody
as well.
will always know something. And I know a lot about a lot of cars, but I will never go to a show and go, "Oh, well, they've done this." And I appreciate it for what it is. Yeah. And your point, I appreciate it for what you've done to it.
And I think a lot of people will pick fault in cars that are nice because they don't have nice cars themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's
There's
a
always
certain
a jealousy thing.
There's a certain amount of jealousy there.
Yeah,
like
100%.
there's a thing going around Instagram at the moment. There, the guy pulls up in his Lamborghini, fills up with fuel, and the lady that's emptying the bins comes out and goes, "Lovely car, but a shame you've got to run it illegally with no front number plate." And he gets in the car and he's like, she's just
Yeah,
could have said,
I've seen that.
she's just could have said, really nice car.
Yeah.
But what she's in fact done is had to pick something.
Pointed out a fault. Yeah.
My customer has just bought himself a GT4, picked it up yesterday, told me about it. I've been at his house for 3 weeks, laying a patio. I just work slow. And he told me about it on the first week, and he knows I'm a Porsche guy. I was like, mate, that's sick. Like we'd been communicating for work and for it, someone I know. And I was like, oh, he's on about getting a GT4 for the last year. And it said, oh, I've just like put a deposit down. I was like, mate, that's sick. Show me. It's a Club Sport, so it's got the seats. So, like, I was buzzing. I'm buzzing. Anyone that I know that gets something or does something good, I'm there. I'm cheerleading.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to work hard and get what you want. And get on emotional.
Give him a hug.
That one ball. But he was showing some of his closest friends, and all they did was pick fault at him.
Yeah.
Shit, innit?
We've had this conversation when you've been cutting my hair.
About his cars, to be
about
fair, like-
your cars, other cars.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen it in me that anything you say about your cars, it'd be like, crack on, mate. You're doing really, really good with everything. Whatever you do, you'll beat all the...
But even like with the Porsche, for example, when you bought it, I mean, bear in mind we talk every day, bar a couple, and I reckon it was 7-8 months before I knew the price of it. You know, first people like, how much is it? How much is it?
Yeah.
You know, why do you need to know?
You've
Like-
said that about your 205. As soon as you bought your 205, I think we had a conversation in your chair, and it was like 99% of people go, how much is that? Oh, you paid X amount for a 205. My reaction was, mate, that's epic. What's
Yeah,
a
that's sick.
what's
Well,
a
it doesn't
cracking
matter
car?
what car it is, you know, when I bought the truck, when I bought this,
Yeah,
you know, whatever it is.
what are you
it's
going to
like-
do to it?
yeah.
Are you going to get these Gotti split rims or something like that?
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a fuck about if it cost
Yeah.
5p or 50 grand.
Yeah.
Same with you. Never ask the price of your car, mate,
Yeah,
because
it-
that's very
like-
personal to you. And I know how hard you graft.
Yeah.
My parents big you up massively for the very small bit of work
They
that
were
they've
on
done.
my OnlyFans account with me though.
They were, yeah.
I did them a deal for that.
But that's the thing. I think this world is so fucked up.
Yeah,
with
like,
picking fault in everything.
Picking fault in, and
I hate it.
we have this conversation all the time. You know, we've both worked hard. We've bought larger houses than we need to.
And it is really
I
hard
bought,
as well,
I
isn't
bought a
it?
larger
Like-
house than I need to because my wife wanted a big garden. We lived in a 2-bedroom house before. We live in a big house now.
Yeah.
Got nothing to
But
do with the garden.
No,
You've got a Lego room.
yeah. Okay, I wanted Lego and land to build 3 garages, but like the people's views from the outside looking in just blows my mind. So I got to a point before all my socials were hacked of just like anyone asks what I'm doing, just tell them I'm selling drugs because they cannot comprehend that I'm working hard. People just can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you don't run your own business. You can work hard and work for someone else. Some of the richest people I know earn more than me working for someone else. Yes, I'm not an IT guru, so I haven't got that ability. But like, if you want something, and I've always wanted a Porsche, I've worked fucking hard to get there. And if you want a nice house, if you want a big house for whatever reason, whether you've got loads of kids, whatever you want, when you want to go on holiday night, like, all you got to do is put your mind and focus on it. We have so much spare time as a human being, you know? No one is working 120 hours a week for someone else.
Try doing a podcast.
But this is your passion, right?
Yeah.
So,
It is.
you know, it may eventually monetize itself. You don't know that, but at the moment, you're doing it for your passion. I'm spending X thousands of pounds on having a car modified. There's going to be no return whatsoever. If
Yeah.
I wanted to sell it, it would decrease the value of the car, right? But I ain't doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for me because it's what I want to do. It's what I go to work for, and it's what I work hard for.
But you can liken it to everything. It's like you started out in your landscaping business. You probably had a little bit of a struggle to get to where you were.
I
In
was
the
working
interim.
7 days a week. I had to have a full-time job and then run my own business on Saturdays and Sundays before I then got enough business and work to be like, right, now I'm going to have to jump ship. And when you've been used to working for nearly 15, 16 years and getting a paycheck every month,
Yeah.
so then be like,
Scary,
well, I'm
isn't it?
having to pay the bills
Yeah.
with the money I'm going out to work and earn, and it's all on me, it's all my responsibility. I mean, I was fortunate I started with a business partner, a good friend of mine, so we kind of split the scariness. Yeah, it's still
Even like you look at the rest of our
now.
pals now that have gone into business since.
Yeah, every single one of our small group owns their own business.
We pushed everybody.
Yeah, I see a post you've done the other day. Yeah, it's really nice.
And that's it. They all sit there and they're like, I don't know whether.
Matt's the last one who's just opened MPH Trim, who does interior trims. He worked for someone else for 9 years, building his craft, and he's like, his attention to detail is insane.
It's so good.
It blows my mind what he can do. Right? I'm like, what the hell? So he's got that. We've got Chris, who is a glazier. His grandparents owned a glazing firm, Family Beef. He's went out and bought another company that the guy was retiring. He now runs his own BJ Glazing. Doesn't offer blowjobs, but does good glazing.
Puts me in his blowhole.
Yeah. Oh, Shamu. And then we got Jamesy, who's mobile tyre fitter. So he runs a Northamptonshire version of Home Tyre. So he's got a franchise that does mobile tyre fitting and stuff like that. So we all run our own businesses. Aaron, obviously, doing hairdressing.
Yeah.
He likes to call it barbering. Hairdressing. Did my sick trim. That's why it's so good with women's hair.
And his.
Yeah, and my butthole hair too. So yeah, it's just so nice. But then we haven't always been like that. Like Aaron was the first one of us to have his own business, and he worked for the business and worked in other shops before then being able to buy into a business and then build up. So he's been an inspiration for me, and then it's worked. Yeah, I've got a little shrine at home. I'm like this. Fuck Jesus. I'm like, Aaron.
He's got an Aaron room as well as a Lego room.
Yeah. There's a little trap door and it opens and it's like just naked pictures of Aaron everywhere. But I do actually have lots of naked pictures of Aaron. They're just not everywhere.
Many naked photos of
My wife's like, why do you have these on your phone? It's Aaron, isn't it? We've been away a lot. So he was an inspiration for me, as well as my old man. He owned his own business for multiple years. And then, you're out for dinner with your mates around someone's house and you're chatting about it, and then you'd be like, oh, this, that, and the other, and then, I think I might want to do that. And then, so, like, one of my mates uses my accountant. I'm like, okay, yeah, here's a good accountant. Here's a guy, this is who I used to build my website. And it all just works like that. And we've got to a point now, we're all business owners and we can all help each other. And if you've got a question, like, it's hard to navigate because none of us have ever
You're
done
like
it
the Freemasons without the dodgy handshake.
Oh, no, we got a dodgy handshake. We just stop. Yeah, we just stop.
Like that.
We go skiing in a circle.
It's like in Hot Fuzz, the greater good, we're all like, yeah.
Just don't look down, it's okay.
No, fair play. I did see your post the other day and it was like, finally, the last one's done it. And it was quite inspiring.
So the four of them were my best men at my wedding as well.
Right,
So.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think the point I'm getting at is we've been doing this for what, 4 months?
Not very long.
Not very long.
Yeah.
And it will happen.
No, if it does, it does. It, like you say, we're just like meeting up and having a giggle with people, and
you're opening doors, and like networking in the car scene is amazing. Like we've made all of our friendships. Like I've got my friends aren't from school. All my friends are through cars.
Yeah.
So some of them are 20+ year up like relationships, and they're thicker than blood. Like I know that they got my back. Like they've been there when you're broken down. They'll come and rescue you. You've been through girlfriends and breakups, and all that sort of stuff. The boys are still the same. It's like the only constant really you have in your life.
Yeah.
And it's all through cars.
It is. It's funny you should say that because me and my wife, we have a very, very wide, varied social circle. I have these boys through work when we all used to work together, and we've been friends for 25 years. The ones that have stuck are the car guys. Yeah. There's Tom, Mike Hodder. We all used to fart arse about together in cars.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that have always stuck. They're all the ones who...
I think you've got a common...
You've still got your phone number.
It's unfortunate having a friend like Tom, though,
It is really unfortunate.
He's just a fat
Can't be
brainer.
fat ginger people, can you?
Yeah. No, you can't trust
Gets
him.
good cuddles though.
Yeah.
Can't feel his ribs.
don't worry, Chris.
But,
We'll test the cuddles later.
But I think it's something if you're not necessarily into football. I've never been into football.
Nah, me either.
I think there's
It's
something...
a weird sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's weird.
I just don't get it.
No.
Mate, the passion they have though is insane. Football fan passion.
The fact you'd go and do something and physically fight somebody else just because they support another team is bizarre. It's always been.
Yeah.
But you're going to find stupid people everywhere. There's plenty of stupid people in the car scene. Let's face it.
But I mean, now...
I was just thinking, oh no, that's maybe where we should stop.
Could you imagine having a fight with somebody because they had a different make of car than you? It just be bizarre.
The fucking
We've already done it for
Bathurst
less.
500, Ford versus Holden, they physically have to put a fence up between the fans.
Do they?
Because they're so territorial between Ford and Holden in Australia, that they will fight each other.
They got sharks and crocodiles and stuff though, man. They're crazy. They're crazy.
They're not. But then now, Formula One, they're starting to have fights. Netherlands, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, in the campsites and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just you add alcohol to any situation.
Yeah.
Any situation, whether it's cars, bikes, tennis, whatever.
I mean, a completely different bit on that, but like the problem is nowadays people walk around like they won't get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll do it to someone and punch you in the face. So
And then they're surprised.
yeah,
I've been punched in the face a fair few times. You don't hurt that much.
yeah.
You know, so
I mean, that's another. We'll get ourselves arrested
we'll
for that
gloss
one.
over that.
Well, that one's probably worse
But yeah.
than 180 mile an hour.
true story. But car friends are definitely, in my life and our lives, are probably the best kind of people.
Yeah, they're
cool.
I think because none of us are into the same cars even really. Like, yes, we all like cars, but like we got Honda boys, we got Vauxhall boys, you got American
Yeah, but we get
boys.
paid for having Honda friends.
Yeah.
There's like care in the community.
Yeah,
isn't there?
exactly.
Yeah,
The government actually give you care allowance to have friends.
No
drive
one
Hondas.
likes Hondas and is actually a
Because
Honda fan.
VTEC, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically like a glorified mobility scooter, isn't it? Because they only have that 200 horsepower, so they're not actually going anywhere fast. They just make a whole load of noise and then rust.
Yeah. That's
very true.
just Prez's car.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, they are the best.
I think you just sort of mentioned it, but what's the fastest you've been in cars?
196
196.
Driving.
Autobahn Germany
Okay.
on cruise control.
In the Porsche.
Yeah.
Wow. It was just before it blew up.
No, it was after it blew
Oh,
up.
right, okay.
Of course, it was before it blew up.
You're really not listening today, are you?
Yeah.
That has actually topped my top speed.
That is,
Is it
that's-
197?
No, mine was 192.
I wrote it down. Fuck.
We were trying to get to 201 because there's a story there. Jeremy Clarkson
He did it in the yellow one, didn't he, on the
tried
Autobahn?
to-
There's
Buy
a
that
story
car.
on that one.
tried to buy that car last year. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so this was before I'd solidly made plans to rebuild mine. The plan was to rebuild it, but I was still going down the stock route. And I was just impatient. And I was like, mate, I just want to be out and drive. It was summer, and I was like, and this car came up. I didn't know it was the car. Speed yellow, 997 turbo manual. Looked in very good condition from a very reputable dealer, supposedly. They spent a week umming and ahhing whether I was allowed to get it inspected, right, independently. Oh no, we'll get it inspected for you. Well, that's not an independent inspection then, is it, mate? That's not how this game works. So they were miles away, like 3 hours drive away. So I was like, okay, well, let me come up and look at the car first. Went up there. Amazing showroom. They're based on an old airfield. There was customers turning up in helicopters.
Okay.
Like, they had like Carrera GTs and stuff. They're selling baller cars. So I'm like on the welfare spec here. And mate, they couldn't have been less interested than they tried. They let me take it for a test drive with my wife. All I had to do was leave the keys to her bad Polo. I was like, mate, they don't even know if it's mine. And they didn't. So the service I got when I bought my first 911 was insane. Top 555 did 3 unveils for me each time I went to go and see it, view it, or pay for it and stuff like that. They couldn't have done enough for me. It was insane. Let me get it inspected. Yes, they didn't want me to, but they let me get it inspected. There wasn't any qualms. They were like, you don't need to. Turns out I didn't really need to, but I ain't spending that sort of money and not trying. So these guys didn't want to get it inspected. I got it inspected after test driving. It was perfect. And it was the Jeremy Clarkson car. I did a check, got the registration number, looked on the videos online. I was like, right, sweet, this is the car. Found out it had 911 hull as the Porsche.
Yeah.
They owned it first, and that's where it was a press car. Turns out the thing needed like 40 grand engine rebuild. The timing chain had got so loose, bank 1 was like 9 degrees out, and the 997 could go up to 10 degrees before it was a catastrophe. So I went back and was like, I'll give you 20 grand for the car. And I'm like, no. I was like, well, you ain't going to be able to sell it unless someone does 40 grand's worth of engine work. And I was already had a 997 that needed a new engine, so I didn't need another one. But I bought a registration plate for it as well already in anticipation of it turning up, because I was like, well, it's done. I'm going to buy it. Yeah, and it just turned out to be, and the people weren't okay. They were selling it. It turned out they were selling it for a friend of the dealer and stuff. So, who I'm assuming either did know or didn't know and is now traumatised.
Yeah.
The dealer can't sell it, because if I'd have bought it from him and then figured that out, they'd have to give me money back anyway within 3 months. So, yeah, I was traumatised. But I nearly bought the car that Jeremy Clarkson did 201 on.
Wow.
Which would have been pretty cool. Because I wanted the red and the yellow, because I kept the both. It would have been sick to have the red and yellow, be like Ronald McDonald. Come here, kiddies. Anyone want a Happy Meal?
Ferrari, Bugatti, McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that would have been cool, but it just wasn't meant to be, was it? So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Right, would you own an electric car?
No.
Full stop.
Full
No.
stop.
Well,
No
almost
one's
as
got
quick as you.
time to drive the microwave, mate. So we've driven Taycan Turbo S's on racetracks with the Porsche Club, at Porsche's Experience Centre in Italy. And they are mad fast. The Turbo S is like 1,000 horsepower or something like that. But they are so heavy. They just don't give you anything.
But bear in mind, we just got out of... so we did all the different things. We did the McCann, where your dad just jumped off the cliff. Then we did the GT4, we did the drifting.
Yeah, on the low
then
friction surface.
we went out
was
in
pro at
GT3s.
drifter game strong.
Obviously.
He was like this, one arm out the window, giving both ways.
We did the... and then we both went out in a GT3 each. He was behind me, I was in front, and I was like, we're not letting that car overtake us.
Yeah,
like,
we had a cup drivers driving us. So they would take us out on the racetrack with
and
a
we
cup driver.
full sent it.
Yeah, we
full
were just
sent
like,
it. And then we got in the Taycans and we were like,
yeah,
we've just got a GT3, this is shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Has it got no soul to it? Is that what
nothing.
it is?
They make weird noises because they've got to make weird noises so you don't run people over. Don't get me wrong. Any electric car, premium electric car, whether it be the Taycan or the e-tron or a very nice Tesla or whatever, they're really, really beautiful inside. And they're like luxurious places to be. But they're not cars to be driven as cars.
No.
Like as an emotive car guy, I want the theatre, I want the noise, I want the smell, I want the ability to actually drive the car rather than press and stop, go and stop. You know, even if you buy a brand new PDK'd car, like from any dealer, whether it be Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, they've got a whole world of emotion going on, and theatre. You know, you can have it in auto, or you can have it in manual, and it's popping and banging, and you've got a noisy exhaust and induction noises and stuff like that. Electric cars have no soul. They've got zero resale value as well. So, you buy a brand new one.
That's the other thing, the depreciation, isn't it?
My customer's just bought the GT4, 2-year-old Tesla with the flappy doors, 75 grand brand new. 2 years later, 15 grand. 15 grand. I was like, mate, how many of those you see driving around Milton Keynes? Every man and dog's got them. It's because poor people can buy them.
Yeah.
You don't have to be rich to. If you buy one of those at 15 grand now, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, aren't you?
Are.
Then you've got Taycans that everyone knows, most depreciating car in the world. Like you buy a Taycan Turbo S for 170 grand. In 2 years, it's worth less than 100 grand. It don't matter how rich you are, you're losing 70 grand. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you're buying it through your business, most people, because you can get it as a tax relief, which is great. But you still, like, it's all well and good having a tax relief, but your business has got to be earning serious coin to be able to swallow up 70 or 80k loss. So the technology isn't there. They're not environmentally friendly.
No.
They are to use, but to produce, they cost, like, you've got to drive a normal car for 10 years. You've got to drive an electric car for 10 years before it outsees the carbon footprint of a... Plus, who's digging up all the minerals and stuff? They're out in these third world countries with people digging the stuff up by hand. Because they're like, oh, the company that's selling the car, Tesla, let's say, out of all the electric cars, is this, oh yeah, it's all green and the but they're not buying the raw materials from the mine that the people are digging by hand. It's going through like 10 different hands, so they can be like, we're not doing it. You know, just put your hands up. So the technology isn't there. It isn't got longevity because we're going to run out of minerals to make all these fancy things as well. So I think either carbon neutral fuels like Porsche. Not that I'm a fan of Porsche, but Porsche investing a lot into getting carbon dioxide out of the air and then turning it into fuel. Okay. And then the carbon dioxide that it makes doing that, they can turn into fuel, and it make the only thing they make is air, or just reusing the carbon dioxide.
I've read something about that. Yeah.
It's above my pay grade to understand, but that or hydrogen. Hydrogen. All you've got is water as a waste.
Yeah.
It's definitely need more of that.
I think above and beyond with electric cars, I say this, so I drive a hybrid, so I'm half cool, so I have an engine, but a quarter. Give me something.
But not being cool to start with means that you've just gone half not cool on top of not being cool, so you're like minus 1.5.
Minus 1.5. So I think owning a podcast gives me a little bit more credibility. But no,
I'm going to stop there.
No one's going to restore an electric car in 30 years' time.
Well, look at Matt Armstrong with the Revuelto.
You can't,
You know,
you can't do it.
Everything's so far space-aged advanced that a normal person can't get involved in that sort of thing. Plus, you're going to kill yourself trying to get involved. You don't know what you're doing. So, you know, it's...
but then the companies make it so much harder anyway. Well, like that car, like literally, you can't do anything.
As soon as the battery goes in any battery car, the car's written off. Yeah. Because the inherent value isn't there anymore, because they're not valuable cars, because they're like Mickey Mouse put together cars, really, when you think about it. Yes, they've got some nice looks and stuff, but the inherent value of the material of the car isn't there. You could say that about a lot of petrol-powered cars, but a normal car, not because electric cars are supposed to be normal cars. Let's not talk about the fancy la-di-da ones, but like just a normal Tesla, Renault, Nissan. They're like 30 grand, let's say, right? If you buy a 30 grand petrol or diesel car, you can go and put another engine in that car for a few £1,000s. You can't put another battery pack in those cars for a few
because it's 10, 20 grand.
Exactly. Yeah. So like some of the brands have done the thing where you're leasing the battery. So like I think the Zoe, maybe Renault did the thing where you're leasing the battery. Well, that'll get to a point where Renault can't make any money because they're having to replace the batteries. Yeah. So then, like, they tried doing this thing where you don't own the battery, so you go in, instead of charging, you just go and replace the battery. Well, someone's going to have a downfall there because the batteries will get to a point where they don't work anymore, like all batteries do, whether it's a Duracell or whether it's a...
And then we don't know, do we know what happens to the batteries once they're gone?
There's a company now, I've seen a few, that will put it into a grinder to then re-get all the material back out of it. So they'll mash it up into a grinder. I don't know how they stop it setting on fire. They must do something to stop that because I know from crashing and stuff, they just set on fire and you can't put them out unless you put them under the sea.
Yeah, you do have to dunk them in water.
That's why a lot of
Mm.
tracks now won't let you go with hybrid or electric cars because they haven't got the facilities to put them out.
Right.
So I've seen that.
Because otherwise it burns for days, doesn't it?
Yeah, until there's nothing left to burn. Like the Rimac that...
Hammond crashed. That burned for like 4 days or something, didn't it?
Yeah, they ended up putting that in a tank. So, I can't remember where I was going.
Electric cars are crappy.
Yeah, it's just not cost effective. So recycling the batteries, that's what we were saying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there's companies out there, but I imagine the cost of trying to get all those materials back out is astronomical.
Yeah. Probably a good business to get into because obviously there's so many electric cars on the road now. So.
Yeah, well, China are producing them like crazy, and they just got fields and fields and fields of them because they're trying to become.
Yeah, I watched the thing the other day. They were saying that is it BYD?
Yeah,
their factory is like 50 kilometres long. It's insane. They're honestly
50 kilometres
long. They've done a 5-minute fast charge as well now. Have you seen that?
I know.
Yeah, so they just given the V's to Tesla by doing a 5-minute super fast charge. Because you don't see many BYDs in the UK. You see them around every now and then because they look quite fancy. But yeah, electric cars. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And anyone that does have them, I'm happy to abuse. One of our friends has just bought one as a daily, one of the new Cupras, Seat things, and he knew on the group chat. So it's coming. Yeah.
Fair enough. So have you ever had any points?
Yeah, buddy.
Right, this might be a run for yours.
We'll see.
So, first set of points was 6 months into my having a driving licence. Up the city, opposite Secla 100, where the cruise used to be there, in my Fiat Uno. Had the mate on my roof of my car trying to get into Redline magazine, didn't I? So he was doing a bit of Team Wolf surfing. They caught me on CCTV doing more than 30 mile an hour forwards and more than 30 mile an hour backwards with my mate on my roof. But 6 months later, I got stand up at my parents' door, both my mums and then my dad's, looking for me. I was obviously out because you're not at home when you're that young. And they wouldn't, because I was under 18, they wouldn't tell them. Oh no, I was just turned over 18. And they wouldn't tell them what I was. They would search me for. So I knew exactly as soon as they said the date. So they were like, "Oh, you need to come down to the station." So we arranged a time. We went down to the station. They asked me what I was doing on the date. I was like, I don't know. I knew exactly what I was doing. And they were like, two cops, they were like, they asked me for legal representation. I was like, no, I'm cool. They put the video on the scene of me hanging out the window like that, with my mate on my roof. They're like, is this you? I was like, doesn't look like anyone else. They wanted to get my mate's name, but I was like, oh no, I'm not giving that. So luckily, the code is the same code for doing over 30 mile an hour. So CU 50, I think they
what, somebody riding on your roof?
Yeah. What it does is it's endangering the lives of your passengers or having a dangerous load. So I just said to my dad that I was carrying wood out the window in the car, and that's why I got it.
Do you want to make this bit out?
Nah, it's fine. Dad doesn't know how to use it. It's fine. And then my next set of points, still within the first 2 years.
How many did you get for that?
3.
3.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So the next points was racing a mate at the time, John Natman, past the Jaipur restaurant in my Uno. I had a straight
You're name dropping everyone as well, aren't you?
I've seen, innit, bruv? Seen. And, or just throwing them under the bus, whichever way you look at it. And we were coming down past the Jaipur, and I was like, I'm winning this. No, he'd seen the police. I hadn't. So he'd slowed down. So I got caught by a cop in the middle of the road with a speed gun doing 55 and a 30. So I was like, uh-oh. But so much so, he stood out to get me to stop, but I was going too fast. So I went straight past him and had to go round. I was like, oh no, I'm done. I'm not going to run through this. I was like, good boy. So I turned it back around and come back up. And he's like, I heard you racing. I was like, I wasn't racing. He's like, you were doing 55 and a 30. I was like, So I had to go to court for that. So
This is in the Uno.
yeah.
It's like looking in the mirror.
Probably on the limit, wasn't
Race
it?
car, isn't it? Yeah, it probably
It's downhill though from there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's downhill, that's the why. And so, going to court, didn't have a suit, didn't own a suit, so I had to rent a suit. And back then, it was my first girlfriend, and I was driving her everywhere. She didn't have a car, and I had to take her to work, I had to take her to like, do a horse and stuff like that. So I pleaded with him. He's like, I'm going to have to give you 6 points. I was like, great, there's my licence gone. So they're like, oh, bring your licence in. No, I'd already sent my licence in because they take it beforehand, before the court proceeding. We'll issue your licence back with your points on. So I knew I was going to lose it. But you don't lose. I didn't lose it just then. I had to wait until it come back. They lost my licence. The court lost my licence.
No.
Asked me to apply for another licence. Yeah. So that came back with my 3 points on it. I then took that to the court. It went over my 2-year period. Boom! Got 12 points to use, didn't I? 9-point Mazin, seconds. So yeah, because they lost my licence, they weren't able to put the points on that one. Because I got a new licence, they hadn't allocated the points yet because they hadn't gone through like the admin stage. So I got my new licence back with my original 3 points on still, which then allowed me to go over a 2-year period, which gave me my 12 points. So I went in, just literally, I think I just lucked out by like a week or so. So that was
one lucky son of
I
a
know,
bitch.
because that would have been a pain in the ass having to retake the test, man. So yeah, and then I've been clear ever since.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. So I after that, doing like 55 and a 30, because again I was young, so I was just like, there's just full send everywhere, and I ain't gonna get caught. But it was like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So now I'm a strict. If it's a 30, it's a 30.
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
a 40, it's a 40. 50s do a little bit faster. AK a lot faster.
10%.
Yeah. 10 maybe. 100%. But no, like 30 and 20s, mate. I don't mess about with those. The reason it is those is because you're in residential areas of school.
Yeah.
Especially now I've got older. Like my wife runs a nursery now, so she's got kids coming and going from our house. We live in this little sleepy village, and people full send through there at 30, and I'm like that. I'm codger at that. Slow down.
With a pitchfork.
Yeah, exactly. So
with the V8 in the driveway.
Yeah. So no, it's been close, but I've been fortunate. To be fair, if I'm going to drive spiritedly, it's at the right times, the right places.
Yeah.
Then I don't really tend to have any issues with that anymore. Like foreign police are a little bit different because it's funny. You go across through the tunnel and then you're like, we can just do whatever speed we like because we're foreign. It's like, yeah, that don't really count. We went,
But we do.
Yeah, when we were in Le Mans, we were going to Le Mans one morning, and Gary had been caught speeding by a French camera on the way out to our accommodation. And we run Waze everywhere now. Waze is mega. Like the French love hiding. Like the gendarmes love hiding. So like when me and my dad have been out on road trips, we've been through sleepy little villages in rural France, in the middle of nowhere, and the motorbike cops wear blue and grey, so they're like ninjas. So you can't see them up against like French like farm buildings and stuff. So we come in, spirited driving through a village. Again, it's a 30-kilometre-an-hour zone, so you should be slowing down, but it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, so you're still full send. Waze tells you, cops there, boom, sweet, slow down, gendarmes are there, they've already caught someone else, away you go. So it saves us so many times. So now it's a good way to like adjust your spirited driving if you need to.
Yeah.
Unless they're driving in cars.
So yeah, unless the cops are driving cars. So we're in Le Mans, so there's 2 stories here. So we're going to the track, and Aaron and I are shimoning in the Peugeot, and then these guys are in their Porsches and TVRs and like light dark cars. His car will keep up with his Porsches, no worries. And we're full send, and then we can see on Waze, that the old boys aren't using, there's speed cameras up ahead. So we've slowed down to the speed limit, and all of these guys have gone raging past us, so we're just...
It's the only time they've overtaken us, so they've gone past, go, and we're like...
Flash, they get done by 2 speed cameras in the same trip. So we're there, literally, we get to Le Mans in the car park, and we are in stitches, just on the floor, wetting ourselves. So these guys, again, like our dad's ages, are like, oh no, fretting because they've just been flashed and stuff. Like most of the time, you don't get them back through. It's even better now when we've come out of the EU. When I used to run a snowboard shop, we used to drive down to the Alps, run a snowboard test. So we drive through the night, and you just drive on the motorways and just stick at 110 mile an hour, get flashed by everything. Never anything came back. The only thing you don't want to do is pay by your card on the tolls. So if you pay by a card on the tolls, they can work out the speed it is for the time. So if you pay cash on the tolls, they've got no traceable evidence then. So I knew a rep that got done for €400 for speeding on a toll road via paying on his credit card. And they just automatically build a credit card. They don't even send you a letter because they can't get any of the information from the DVLA.
Yeah.
They just charge you. I was like, techers. So yeah.
Top tip there.
Top tip.
Well
So we finished Le Mans, all buzzing, wicked race. Let's get back to the pad, get a barbecue, get a beer. Aaron's come out like through the traffic. We got to a clear bit in this like residential stroke because they love a residential and like warehouses in the same place in France, don't they? Industrial bit. It dumps really loud and it's got a loud exhaust. So he's overtaking 4 cars in a row. And I'm like, this is wicked. Like, as passengers, just la 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 la. Next thing he knows, Aaron's goes, fuck, that was cops. I was like, how do you know? At the blue light, the dude puts his hand out and puts a blue light on top, right? Pulls us over. It's not just the cops, it's the freaking military police. And he's got his gun strapped to his dick, right? So he stood there, I'm in the passenger side of the Peugeot, wetting myself. Aaron's there with his dude, cop at like willy height, with a massive gun next to him. And Aaron has nothing with him. Have you got any money? No, we've got no money. He's like, have you got your driving licence? No. Have you got your insurance? Have you got your... No, got nothing, right? So this cop's like...
No front number plate.
Yeah, no front number plate. So this cop is like walking around the court, like walking around a Peugeot, raging, because we've just done like 60 mile an hour in a 30, past 4 cars and him. And he asked us all these questions and then said, oh yeah, off you go. Just let us off. I was wetting myself. And I was like half wetting himself, half like, I'm going to get fucked here.
Yeah, but we blagged it well good because we were like, oh, we didn't take anything with us because all the cars get broken into. We didn't want anything stolen, so we've left it at the pad. And he's like, well, are you in a rush? We're like, yeah, we've got dinner reservation. He's like...
He was sound. We could have had a real like...
Yeah, you catch her in the right time.
Oh, mate, some of the French police are crazy. I had a friend caught in the Alps with no snow chains, and it's mandatory you have snow chains on the car at a certain level with the snow. And then it's also, if the gendarmes feel like you should have snow chains, then you should have snow chains. So he got done €400. They just frog marched him to a cash machine. €400 with no snow chains. It's crazy.
Is that going in their back pocket?
100%. I got caught coming back from Le Mans one year in the Ferrari. We'd been there, and we got to the last toll booth, and there was a Ferrari 308 next to us, and I'm in this Mark III Golf in red, sticking up as a Ferrari. It even had the stock standard steels on it, like, because I was camping, so I was like, I'll just raise it up and stuff. So I was like, giving it to the guy, do you want it? So he just sent it, and I'm like, well. So I got up to like 140 kilometres an hour in 120. This Ferrari's just done one. He must have done 200 kilometres an hour. There's 2 gendarmes on a motorbike, like hiding behind a central reservation on a slip road, off-ramp. So I was like, they're not going to get me. They're going to go after the Ferrari. So no, they come and pull me over. I tried hiding behind lorries. They knew what I was up to. They pulled me over. Oh, why are you going so fast? I was like, I'm trying to make the ferry. I was like, why didn't you get the Ferrari? He's like, we couldn't have caught him. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, you give me €90, you make the ferry. You don't give me €90, you don't make your ferry. I was like, well, €90 it is then. So you always have a little bit of a Brucey just in case, because he's like, do you want receipt? I was like, can I go quicker? Yes. Off you go. So, but you've got to be more wary, like in Switzerland and stuff. They're a little bit stricter over there. And like Austria. So at Wörthersee, they cramped down on that massively, didn't they? And people just like they'll VOC cars basically. Yeah. So anything that's like not MOTable in their country, they'll do it for. So
stick out like a sore thumb.
It's some crazy rules and regulations. You just got to remember to take all your stuff with you and stick by their rules. Like have high vises, do the basic stuff like that. And as long as you're not being an idiot, then they're pretty good. You don't really have that much of an issue. But
what's a high vis for?
So if you need a high vis with each, and you need one for every passenger, accessible from that seat. So if you've got 2 people in the front of the car, you need the high vis is accessible from to be able to get out with a high vis on. So that's law in France.
Oh, right.
And same as there's a lot more stuff where you need like crit air stickers. So for like the ULEZ charge, but they'll do a €5 sticker for the whole country.
Yeah.
So, but you need to be aware that like you need stuff like that.
I'm sure you need like a breathalyzer and stuff like that.
You used to need the breathalyzers, not anymore. Yeah, they stopped doing that. I think the problem is because those homemade breathalyzers, 1, they're not that great, and 2, they go out of date real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just getting a nightmare because people are then getting pulled over and they're like, oh, I've got one, but it's out of date, and then it created so much more of a problem, I think, for them than it was worth it.
Yeah.
So, and then you just like, you get drunk at home, you're like, let's try these, see if they work. They don't.
Because isn't it Sweden where you have to blow into it before your car will start?
Don't know.
Yeah, there's
before the car will start.
Yeah, it literally will not start.
What on the actual car? I don't know.
Yeah, it physically
what?
won't
So it's got
start.
a built-in breathalyzer.
Nah.
Yeah, honestly,
That sounds like you've been mugged off.
Sounds like you weren't listening to that.
I've done Scandinavian driving, and that's not a true story.
I'm going to look into this.
Yeah,
I might stand
it's probably you driving a Tesla that does it. Isn't it?
I think we need to dig into work. Does anyone make you do that at work? Blow into this before you can go to work.
Yeah.
No, don't they tell you to suck it first? It might be called a blow job, huh? It's definitely like that blowing.
I'm going to look into this.
Right, I'm going to ask you one of our questions.
Yeah.
Favourite movie car?
964 Turbo, Bad Boys.
Bad Boys.
I think that's like the third week in a row, that one.
Yeah.
It's iconic. If you've got our sort of age, I think it's it's just beautiful. It's perfectly spec'd as well. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just iconic. They sound mega. They look mega. They're like 150 grand now though, which is the only thing.
Nuts.
And then you still got to spend like 40 grand on an engine rebuild if they get to a certain note. They are more cost effective.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah. Again,
You could have bought one.
When you've got friends that have got Porsches and stuff. I know someone that's had a rebuild on a 964 Turbo. So yeah, it's just iconic. Just that beautiful like shape with the whale tail as well. You know, you can buy 964s with whale tails that aren't turbos. It's just an iconic look.
Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful. The car. But I think if you were born a little bit later, then you'd be into Fast and Furious cars.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
R34. It would probably, going back to your 5 cars, I think I'd have an R34 as well because they're just
The
gorgeous.
money they command these
yeah,
days.
like some of them are 150 grand.
Yeah.
150, like it's just
Yeah.
mad.
That comes up
But
a
even
lot,
more
doesn't
now. Trump's tariffs on. I think it probably comes up the classic car, so it probably doesn't get done. But yeah, they go for mad money in the States.
I'm sure there was a couple. I was watching a YouTube video. There was like a nurse spec one in Japan.
Yeah, they got
or something.
like it's Honda in it, so it's
Yeah.
like weird specs and stuff. Like the Jap
But it
boys
was
love
like
all that sort of stuff.
million quid.
Really?
It sold for £1 million.
But if you get like, because they made like limited edition runs of
Yeah,
V-spec,
yeah.
G-spec with like wheels and exhausts and stuff from factory, which was
Yeah.
cool. I mean, they're pretty antiquated, and when you get inside, like it's like Don't Meet Your Heroes. They're a little bit, but they look beautiful.
Yeah.
We've got a few friends with them, and they are like gorgeous looking cars. And again, they're the cars you wish you bought at the right time.
Absolutely.
But then you didn't have the money, or if you did, you bought what you wanted rather than what could go up. Like it's an investment vehicle. So you know, some people I know that have got them because they just wanted one, and now they're worth 5 times what they purchased them for. So
Yeah, we said this before. Like I've always been in hot hatches, and like Nova GSIs, XR2s. If I'd have known back then what I knew now,
yeah. But you need the money and the space as well.
Yeah,
and that's the
exactly.
hard thing, isn't it? Because if you haven't got it at home, you've got to go rent somewhere.
it would have taken the fun out of driving and ultimately ruining the just the life experiences them cars brought.
Yeah.
So
Jason Plato's got a video going around on the gram at the moment.
Absolutely
of all the 90s
superb
cars.
video, yeah.
And I think if you're a car guy, born in the 80s or 90s, you would have one of every one of those cars.
Absolutely.
You can afford it.
Is this
Yeah.
what you said?
No, Clio
That's
V,
what I said,
Clio V6s, the Nissan Panamera GT, or the car
Yeah.
when you drive that thing,
Yeah.
you know, in touring car form, like all those sorts of hot hatches.
it was like there was a yellow one. The early McGann 16 valve or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I just thought I remember those
Yeah, I
cars.
had an RC car of one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, that's an epic video.
Yeah, that era of car was
It
just...
actually made me want
Well, I think
to
it was like
find.
early 90s cars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was what it was about. But yeah,
It was just about the 90s cars being cool and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it actually made me want to build a touring car replica.
Fiesta XR Turbo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My dad had one of those, which was sick.
Yeah.
Like, they kept trying to do.
Yeah, it's immediately after watching that, looking, let's go buy my.
Yeah, and then you're like, they're not
RS
cheap anymore.
Turbo. No, they're 20 grand
You look
now.
at Safi Cozzies, when I was like at the cruise, when I was like 17, 18,
Yeah.
every man and their dog that was
Yeah.
like the cool kids had a Safi Cozzie, right? And they were picking them up for 4, 5, 6 grand.
Yeah.
You know, now they're like 50 grand a plus.
Yeah.
For a crappy
Yeah,
Ford
I
Sierra.
went down a Cosworth
is
rabbit
at
hole
the
the
end
other
of the day,
day.
really.
Yeah, a rusty Ford Sierra, or one that isn't rusty, has been rusty, and they cut all the rust out, and
Yeah.
now it's not original anyway. So, yeah, it's mad. But if you I've got a few friends that are stashing cars away rather than putting in pensions and stuff, because you're probably won't
investments, isn't it?
won't
Yeah.
live to see your pension, or two, you'll just get shafted on a pension because you know the way the world is at the moment. And yeah, you've got the income to be able to do that, and also the space to be able to put them away without having to pay externally for it, and just keep on top of them so they're not going to disrepair or barn finding them. I think not even that long. 20 years or so.
Well, you look at that Cozzie we talked about earlier. 30 years old.
Yeah.
You probably, what was a Cozzie new? 20
Yeah,
grand?
probably.
Now
But
it's selling.
that was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money back then, yeah.
But now 50, 70 grand,
£250,000.
Yeah, because was it RS 500? Was it that was that
It was an
super low
Escort
miles?
Cosworth, but it
the
had
Escort Cosworth, yeah, sorry.
2,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
But even RS 500s are selling for minimum 100 grand now.
yeah,
It's nuts.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm so far gone with the questions, mate. I don't know what we've asked and what we haven't.
Most embarrassing thing you've done to a car? We haven't done that one yet, have we?
The last hour and a half of our podcast.
Well, it probably not my car, but one of my mate's cars, Chris. He had a Mark II Golf. And it was 60 in a Mark II, and we painted every single thing that we could paint under the bonnet pink. I don't know why we had
knowing.
Yeah, no. He was like consensual with this. You know, it wasn't like it was like non-consensual, like all the cool kids do these days. No, he's consensual. We painted everything pink, and we thought he looked so cool, and he definitely didn't. And then I think he got a head gasket issue, and we meant to sell it. And,
do you imagine turning up at the mechanics?
The bonnet dude was like, "What the hell have you done? Why is everything pink?" Like, I don't know.
That was a thing though, wasn't it? Like you'd have the outside and you'd open up the bonnet.
And it was a completely different colour.
It was almost a completely different scheme to the car.
Yeah.
So you had 2 or 3 different things.
But we just did it on like a homemade, like I don't even think we took anything off. We just painted pink on the car. So like the top mount plastic covers, the airbox, the water bottle, like everything, even the rubber hoses. I would just paint them pink and fine. That lasted 2 seconds. So yeah, just stupid stuff like that. Like,
That's a good one. All right. Where did the love for cars come from? We haven't asked that one yet.
Yeah, my old man.
Definitely
Yeah,
old
like
man.
he has always had a passion. He was in a motorbike gang when he was a kid. He
Was he?
grew up in like St Albans, and was in like him and his mates all had motorbikes, so he's always been in those. And then he had me and my brother, and then stopped riding motorbikes because people were dying. Like as standard motorbike riders, if you ride with motorbikers, you're going to know someone that's died. It's just how it is. We rode off road, so I did a lot of motorbike trials and stuff. But I've never bothered getting my road license. I drive mad enough in a car, so I know I'd be like obscene on a bike. So for my own preservation, I've never bothered getting a bike license. But Dad, because we're Milton Keynes, Silverstone's up the road, so we went to Silverstone. And back in the day, they used to do F1 testing.
Yeah.
You know, so many things. They used to do World Rally special stages up there and stuff like that. So it's 20 minutes away. So we were fortunate enough he was able to take us. I remember going to my first F1 event there, and you know that's where the bug came. And then we'd watch F1 on the TV at weekends. So have RC cars. Yeah. You know, all that sort of stuff. So that's where it's come from. Cool. Dad's never been into modifying cars. And to be fair, he never had a good car, really. He used to, his missus was the MD's PA for Volkswagen for like 25 years. So he used to get a deal. You could buy any new Volkswagen or Audi for like 20% off. So he used to buy a TT every summer at the beginning, spec it, have it for the summer, and then sell it for a profit. Because you had to have it for 6 months. And sell it for a profit every year. So he had quite a few nice TTs. Then he almost got an R8. And then he was like, he's quite savvy, so he didn't want to lose any money. And
because they dropped loads, didn't they?
Yeah, especially the Mark 1s did. And then he got cancer. He got prostate cancer. Sweet, got it all sorted, surgery. He's fitter now than he ever was. But that was the realisation that he's not going to live forever, I think.
Yeah.
So he retired, bought his first Porsche, which was a Boxster convertible. Well, they're all convertibles, but a 718 Boxster. Then that got us the bug. Then we did a couple of Euro road trips and stuff. Then he bought a Spider. So he had a Miami Blue Boxster. Then he bought so he ordered a Spider, but that's when they were going to stop producing them. So he wasn't sure if he was going to get it. He ended up didn't get it, but the dealer managed to find him one that someone couldn't afford because the interest rates changed. So he had one at the docks that he couldn't spec, but it turned out it was 6 spec. It's like Arctic grey, so it's like a dark crayony grey. Carbon buckets. It's black and grey, so it's like murdered out. So that's sick. So that comes with a GT4 engine in it as well. So you got that. So it literally loves the Spider. Spider's mega mid-engine car. It's just a mega big hit.
Which is a blue one, I see on.
So he then got a 992 Targa, because he loves open top driving, and he wanted a 911 because he'd never had a 911. So he got a Targa, but it's a big car. It's a heavy car. I mean, it's quick. We did Monaco in that and went to the Pyrenees. But he never really gelled with it because it's massive. So then he sold that and then has just got a Spider RS. So he's now got the Spider and the Spider RS. So the Spider RS is like for special occasions. But we're still running it in because he wants it running before we go away in May. So we're off to a Goodwood members meeting next weekend. So we'll take it down there. We did Cavalry Machine last week. I got to drive it for the first time as well, which is cool. So I've done a lot of driving in the normal Spider and the Targa and the previous Boxster. But it was called the RS, even though it's running in. Just hearing that engine at 4,000 RPM max you can do. But the induction's next to your head, so you just hear it. It's like sucking in the world, and the exhaust notes mega, because it's the GT3 engine, but you're not in a coupe, so you can hear everything. Yeah, it's just mega. And like you downshift on the PDK and stuff. So and again, carbon buckets, and it's just got like vents and aero everywhere. It just looks naughty. So So yeah, it's cool. That's where my want for a convertible car comes from, because it's like I've driven all of his cars that are convertible in all sorts of scenarios, and it is cool. So yeah, and because I've got a coupe, it'd be nice to have something different. So yeah, that's where the love of cars comes from.
Good. Yeah. Great questions and great answers. Oh no, great answers. Sorry, not great questions.
Just thinking myself when he's listening.
Yeah, well done. You listened to that last one.
Route 66.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
No.
Would you do it?
No.
Oh right, okay.
Do you know how many Americans are in America? They're not okay, hun. No, I've been over the States a few times, just random places. It's not something like if you've driven in America, all you can do is 55 mile an hour because there is a cop hiding everywhere. It's not worth, it's so hard to...
Does Waze not work out that way?
I don't know, mate, but Jesus Christ, there's so many freaking cops hiding and so I've driven in America, you don't want to mess around with them, they just get angry all the time. If you watch on in Instagram, you see all these people all the people that are like, I'm not going to give you my driving license until you tell me what I've done. It's like, well, you're going to lose against this cop, aren't you?
Yeah,
I know my constitution.
There's too much fucking argy-bargy.
With cops, hold your hands up and give them whatever they want because they are going to get you for something. If you're sweet with them, most of them are normal guys, and normally they're a car guy as well. If you've done something obviously bad, just own up to it. They're going to do you, whether they want to or not. If you can help it so they don't do you, then be civil and normal. So yeah, it's not really something like America in general isn't like there's something I put on a pedestal and be like, oh, it's amazing. There's some great places out there, but it's just a bit crazy, man. The Yanks are generally a little bit not okay, hun. From my experience, you go there as an English person, and they just want you to come round to their house and be their English friend. And you don't even know them from Adam. You're literally at a hotel for one night, and they're like, here's my details. Next time you're in Triland, come and see me. And I'm like, you're not
That's
okay.
so true.
They're friendly, but I find the Canadian friendliness is better than the American friendliness. Canadians are well nice.
Yeah.
Route 66 isn't just
I take it you kind of like driving through the mountains and the Alps.
Yeah, exactly. And straight line driving, I'm just doing drive Santa Pod on the motorway. So
that's a good point.
M40's not got no speed cameras on it. I'll go really fast from there. And I'll go to the autobahns.
Yeah.
The Route 66, one of our friends did it for a honeymoon, and the desert's just mad hot. If you're doing it in cabriolet, you've got to have the air conditioning on, super cold. Yeah. There's no petrol stations for a bajillion miles, so you've got to be worried about that. Then when you do pull over to the petrol station, it's like the hills have eyes and they want to try and sleep with you and chop your head off and wears a mask with a chainsaw and stuff. So, yeah, it's not really something that I've ever been desired to do. There's a cool trip that a company called Scenic Car Tours do. Easy, Tiger.
I screwed that down.
Stop whacking off.
Smashing the place out.
Scenic Car Tours, we've done a few of their trips, and they do a wicked Scandinavian trip. So you start here, drive around through Germany up into Sweden, and then go from Sweden all the way around the coast of Norway up into the Arctic Circle, then down through Finland, back into Sweden and back again. That's a 3-week road trip. And
wow.
I've done a bit of driving. I wild camped around Norway for 2 weeks with my wife.
Would you do Sweden in winter? Yeah. Go to Arjeplog?
Yeah, do some ice drifting.
That's something that's always appealed.
One of my mates, Chris, did it with a friend, and they traded a Subaru over there, I think it was, and did it, which was cool. I think I'd rather just go over there and use someone else's car than take your own over. But any type of ice drive, Rough have just done a whole week of it. They put it on their socials, and it does look mega. Cool. Once you master, even in here, driving on snow, it's not that hard.
No.
So you've just got to be clever about being able to drive. The amount of people that just can't drive, let alone driving in the snow. I mean, people can't even drive on the motorway in the rain in this country. They're crashing. It's mate, it's a straight line. It's a straight line. So and it's driving to the conditions. When you've got Cup 2s on your car, you see all of these supercars getting crashed in the rain because they're full sending with Cup 2s in the rain, and it's you've got literally you don't have no grip, but you've got a lot less grip when it's wet. You just need to drive the conditions. And, all the Matt Armstrong's GT3 got crashed straight away. Yeah, people just drive these.
That
cars.
was literally pulling out of the
test driving it or just driving it as soon as he bought it. So,
but he did that with his Lambo as well, didn't he?
Yeah. But when you've got 1,000 horsepower and you've turned it into rear wheel drive,
there's not much that's not going to stop it crashing.
Yeah, exactly. You get excited. It doesn't take much to lose it, and all the talent in the world. Sometimes these things are just out of your control.
Yeah.
So why are you driving a car with those kind of tyres on when it's aquaplane weather? It could be your only car.
Yeah, because the tyres that he had on that Lambo was insane.
Yeah. But he's the guy to crash a car like that because you can rebuild it. And you've got the funds to do it.
More content.
Normal people don't have that.
No.
So or have a whole collection of other supercars to be able to do it. So yes, it's a bummer, but it's not as big a deal if you're in that position, is it? So whereas if it's your only pride and joy, oh man, and then your insurance premium's not okay.
Squeaky bum time.
Yeah, exactly. But you just don't want to hurt anyone.
No.
You know, you or your passenger or anyone else on the road. You know, you got to constantly be conscious of, like, especially when you're enthusiastically driving. That's why, like, Sunday morning hoons are good before anyone's up. There's always horses and bikes on the road, like push bikes. You know, because B roads, that's where they are, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and if you're doing enthusiastically driving around blind corners at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, everyone's out because it's nice weather and stuff. So you just need to be conscious of doing that in the right time in the right place.
I'm going to lead on then. This is your moment to have a little rant about British motoring. What's the one thing that fucks you off most?
Just people obliviously driving. Like, it's like, I think from driving enthusiastically or spiritedly, you learn to be quicker at reading situations. You're constantly, like, if you drive a motorbike, you are constantly checking out what everyone else is doing. The amount of people, Milton Keynes is, I believe, one of the worst, because we've got a bajillion roundabouts.
Yeah.
You've got people driving around that are using both lanes around a roundabout, so they're just cutting straight over, oblivious to the fact that they don't know how to use the lane, so it's got arrows written on the floor and written on the signpost before you get to the roundabout. Kingston is one of the worst ones.
It's terrible.
So you've got the left lane, left only.
Yeah,
middle lane, straight on. Right lane, right or straight on. People will go from the middle lane, into the middle lane of the thing, to then into the slow lane.
Charlotte have this argument every time we do it.
It's got all that come off a roundabout into the fast lane.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, mate? You come off the roundabout into the first lane, not the second lane.
Because I live right next to that, and to the point where I'm toying with the idea of going there with some white paint and physically drawing like a line so
all the way round so you can follow it. Yeah, like a kid doing a blooming puzzle. You need to, mate. It's astonishing.
I had someone on the bike the other day. She pulled out of where the museum is.
Yeah.
Didn't even look right. Just
scary.
So I stopped the bike in front of her.
I've been out with Aaron. I've been out with Aaron in my car and him on the bike, and I have witnessed people pull out and nearly kill him.
Yeah.
Several times. What they don't understand is that we're together.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to kill him, I'm coming at you too. So when he's got a bike and a car reversing down the road coming to F you up, then, you know, they're so oblivious.
Yeah.
They're not even like sorry. They're just like, because they're just not looking. They're just not looking. And Milton Keynes is slowly but surely stopping you cutting across dual carriageways. So now you've got to go to the roundabout, turn around and go back in.
I like that idea.
But,
it is great, but it confuses people. Like they've just done it down by Simpson.
Yeah, well, they allow buses only, don't they? Or
no, they've stopped the one down by Simpson where it goes 2 into 1, right? I had the other day, someone went up and then literally tried to do a U-E.
Oh, around
I was
the
like,
end.
what are you
Before
doing?
the bridge.
Oh, really?
Where those cones
wow.
are.
They've done that near where I live. I forget the estate, but they've put a gantry thing in the middle.
Yeah.
But then people will come out of the estate and you have to go left down to the roundabout, go around and then back up. But people are doing U-turns around the island.
Yeah.
But it's 75 metres to the roundabout. And
people like just. I think the problem is people aren't looking past their bonnets.
No.
So that, like you should. I don't know if you've done any advanced driver training as well. So I've been to Millbrook and done advanced driver training. When I did my licence, I did my Pass Plus. So it takes you on the motorway and all that sort of jazz. And my dad now has done. I can't remember what it's called, but it's another version of advanced driver training. You go out and you do however many sessions for a fixed price. You just do as many sessions as you feel, and then you do a test to make sure. But it's all like commentary and reading back everything you see on normal roads as well. Yeah. But I think we need something in line that you go and do something to make you proficient. I don't know whether it's people, because 20 years ago it wasn't as bad as this.
No.
I think one, the population is really big and we've got a lot more cars, so like the traffic around Milton Keynes is mad. But also now we've got a lot more people living here from foreign countries on foreign licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can come and live here and drive on your Italian driving licence for 3 years. I think you can do on their driving licence. French, I think it's a year. It's different for each country because I think they do it on depending on how bad your test is. But if you can drive on a foreign driving licence for a year or 3 years, like, but you've not driven in the UK or even in Milton Keynes before. Yeah. Like, it's just it's a mind blow. I mean, I know from personal experience, going into foreign countries and driving, you've got to have your head on a swivel, because going around a roundabout the other direction, it messes with your mind.
Yeah,
coming out of the T-junction, you've got to keep your wits about you, and then you've got to keep your wits about you when you come back to the UK.
But equally, what I found, I haven't done any spirited driving. It's just been family holidays. But when driving in France on the motorways, the biggest bugbear for me, lane discipline in France is exquisite.
Is it?
It is absolutely exquisite.
Yeah,
but the funny thing was, I followed a fella down to the Eurostar terminal, and he was perfect when he drove in France. We then got off. We even chatted when we were on the Eurostar. As soon as he got onto the M20, whatever it is,
middle lane,
middle lane cunt, and I was just like,
loving the range.
I was
loving it.
I was just like, what has changed since you crossed that water?
Got into their hometown, and they're like, yeah, no.
And I do, like I say, for my job, I do 1,000 miles a week sometimes, and I used to enjoy driving. I used to just love a blat in my cars. I don't enjoy driving anymore because of
the numpties.
The numpties.
Yeah.
But the thing to liken with you is people seem to make driving a third and fourth priority in what they're doing.
I'm in a van most of the time for work. I'm looking down.
But I think
every
everyone
man
should
on the
have
phone.
to drive a van.
Yeah,
I think everyone should have to
But
drive a van in their
I've
test.
seen you drive a van, and
Because
we've
it's
chatted
mad.
afterwards when we were coming back from Leighton and we were on the same road. There was some, I'm going to say a foreigner so I don't get done for racism, but he was in the second lane doing about 30. You were behind him.
Yeah, oblivious, mate.
He was completely oblivious, but then you pulled out, you saw me go up behind him, and then you flashed me out, and we both undertook them.
Yeah.
But
they were oblivious to any of that
They were
happening.
oblivious to anything like that
But yeah,
happening.
we would be the ones in trouble.
Yeah, because we undertook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I see it on the motorway all the time. You're driving down the motorway, and it's very rare I'll end up in the slow lane unless there isn't any traffic, because I'll be going 70 miles an hour between speed cameras, and you can see that on traffic times that you're going to be overtaken within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So unless there's a big enough gap, I ain't going in the slow lane. But if there's a big enough gap, I'm going in.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't need to be on the outside, and that's what clogs up all the roads as well. Is people not moving over. I drive the 421 every day, 2-lane dual carriageway. People doing 50 mile an hour in the outside lane.
Yeah.
Or people doing 40 mile an hour on a 60 mile an hour single lane road. Like, what are you doing? You wouldn't pass your driving test doing that speed.
Nah.
You would fail because you're supposed to get up to the speed. Yes, it isn't the speed you have to do, but you should be there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing 20 mile an hour or even 10 mile an hour under the speed limit unless there is a hazard. So a T-junction, okay, let off a little bit. But I follow people all the time that brake when vehicles are coming the other way.
Yeah.
There's a corner that you don't need to brake for. Yeah. It's a corner that you can see the whole way around, and they're braking.
Yeah.
Because they are oblivious to the fact of how the way the world works.
Yeah.
There was a guy when we was in Le Mans, and he was obsessed with being in front of me. He had a 991 911 with carbon ceramics.
Right.
I'm in the Peugeot. I've got uprated discs. It's got no ABS, no carbon ceramics. And he broke on every corner.
Really?
I was like, if you're going to drive like an idiot, sit behind me because I'm going
he
to the back
broke,
of you.
but it was like the world was coming to an end because he's got carbon ceramics. We're like in brakes from the Flintstones. We've literally got to put our foot out to slow down. So we're like, Jesus, you're not expecting it. And we're like, why are you braking? Oh, because it's a PDK as well. It's either go or stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't a hard brake, you'd see the brake lights come up because it's like a confidence thing. It's like, mate, that's not how you drive.
Yeah.
Again, those kind of people. If you're going to buy a premium car that's got a bit of a
learn how to drive.
Take yourself on an advanced driver course. It gives you the world of good. Like, it only gives you good. It doesn't give you any negative. And they can point things out that you are oblivious that you're doing. Like they take you out on the cat driver training days over at Millbrook. They'll take you out and they'll get you to just drive at a certain speed. They'll get you to turn. They'll get you to look in your mirrors and make sure you're not because a lot of people tend to do things and then move the steering wheel. And you're oblivious to the fact. So they'll get you to do your avoidance. So they'll get you to do avoidance, just braking hard. Then they'll get you to do avoidance by swerving and braking. So you can swerve and brake at the same time and things like that. So, and they teach you that first before you get into the fun stuff. Because they need to know that if you're going to teach you to do the fun stuff, that you can stop at least. Yeah. And it also gives you an understanding of your car, which is what I like. Driving your own car in a place where you're going to find it hard to crash into something, driving enthusiastically, is amazing. Like you can find the limit and pass the limits if you want to of your own vehicle too in a controlled environment. Yeah. So, there are a lot of numpties on the road.
So basically, other motorists.
If everyone else just stayed at home, COVID was wicked.
COVID was great.
Yeah, the amount of sweet drives I had on COVID was.
That is what I think has diminished people's driving talent.
Yeah.
Because we all stayed at home for 6 months, and then we all got back on the road, and it's like, how do I do this?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the people are just moving and are not courteous. Like I'm a big fan of if you're letting someone through or someone's letting you through, just give them a wave. Yeah. Even if it's your right of way or not. Like if you have to let someone through, you know what I mean? Just give them a little wave. Like the other person, I know I had to let you through, but just appreciate I did because I didn't have to. I could have just been that see you next Tuesday and got full send and be like, So But people don't. It bores my piss. So I'm like this hanging out of the van. Oh, don't worry about it, mate. That's all right.
Yeah.
Like it's weird how these things like grate on you, but because it happens daily and daily and daily, you just feel like, mate, come on, have a bit of just politeness about it. It goes a long way, doesn't it? It goes a long way. I'm
Just
always
wear my
courteous in the
motorbike
van.
gloves so you can punch wing mirrors.
Yeah.
Take out a lot of wing mirrors. You don't use them, so.
Yeah, they definitely ain't using them, mate.
definitely
Mate, the amount of cars I drive past that haven't got wing mirrors anymore, or the glass is not there.
So because Aaron's been there.
Yeah.
Charlotte and I went to Silverstone. She was in the Charger and I was on the bike. Must have been back end of last year. And we're coming back roads home, and I'm literally like, cars on the other side of the road parked up. This woman's coming towards me, and I'm like, she's looking through me. The Charger's behind me. So even if she doesn't see me, she sees the Charger, right? Yeah. Here's the bike and the, big block V8, like. And it wasn't until I went past her and punched her wing mirror that she then went,
Yeah.
But she was going to hit Charlotte in the Charger. How are you hitting both of these vehicles that are like, they're loud? The Charger at least takes up a lot of presence on the road. How are you just like...
How do you miss it? Yeah.
They're just on autopilot and also just not looking past the bonnet.
Yeah.
A lot of people just do the same journey all the time, so they don't actually go anywhere that they don't know the road. So I know from my own experience, you can get yourself into an autopilot through. When you do anything more than about a 45-minute commute, you tend to switch off.
Yeah.
So you can get to your destination, work normally.
But you don't remember how you got there.
Yeah.
How did I get here?
Yeah.
And that's not okay. You've got to that point of doing everything so subliminally, you know. So you're not even used to it. But I see it all the time. People eating their breakfast, doing their makeup.
So when you see them
phones.
texting, it's
Mate,
so fucking scary.
They're watching videos.
Yeah.
They've got it on their dashboard and they're watching videos, or they're just holding it. And the amount of people, tradespeople especially, that are just on their phone.
Yeah.
Like, just zero fucks given, just be like, chatting like it's normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, mate, I'd be scared to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm a pretty alert driver, but I'd be like, oh no, I'm definitely going to be the one that gets caught out.
But that's the thing. I think now you rely on your van for work. I rely on my car. I don't want to lose my job.
Responsibilities then turn up, so you're like, I've got to have my licence.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford to pay a chauffeur to drive me around to work and back again. So, you know, it is. I think that side of things, it brings it home a bit more, especially when you've got like responsibilities, you've got mortgage and all that sort of stuff. When you're younger, you're a little bit like, it don't really matter, do it? When you're living at home or whatever, or you haven't got any kids and people to provide for. But as soon as, I think, yes, there's people out there that have got responsibilities that still don't care.
Nah.
But that's probably they're generally like they're probably people that have got a crap marriage, that don't like their wife, they go to the pub with their mates, get tanked up, and like there's probably a demographic of people that they just don't care about stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the people that want to go out and fight on a night out. Like, I've never been that way. Yes, I've got into fights, but it's normally because I'm a cheeky fucker. But you know, I'm not going out looking for it. I get drunk and fall asleep kind of guy. Whereas I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that want to get drunk and then just have a tear up. Yeah. So it's always that different type of people. You know, don't get me wrong. We've all got to be different, but some people are just tools, aren't they?
Yeah. Great answers.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah, we can. Well, no. Before we stop, update on your truck.
So Nick, yeah, back end's nearly back on.
Is it?
What projects I'm working on? It's only taken me 52 years. Nothing's happened. How's his other 52 projects? How's all these
I got to
vehicles?
find time to do mine. You're just paying someone else to do it. It's still not fixed.
It's closer to being fixed than yours.
Yeah, someone else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. They see me rolling. They're hating. Yeah, but at least mine will work.
Yeah, all right.
I didn't mean to open a can of worms.
Any excuse.
So is it anywhere near finished from what it was last time you were on?
Back end's nearly back on. I reckon by the end of the month, back end will be back on.
Oh, wicked.
Rear suspension's pretty
It's like
much
3
dialed
bolts.
up.
It's taken him 6 months to put on. 3 bolts.
Because you're having a new engine put in as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I've been doing stuff, I when I got married and that, and then did other things and that, and...
Yeah.
Same as your crappy excuses, and someone else is doing it. Fuck's sake.
Wicked. Right, we'll end it there then.
Yeah,
How long
end
is
it.
that? That's. I think we're going to break this one in.
2.5 hours.
We're going to break this one into 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, no one's
that's
listening
like
to us.
double.
Is it?
That was cool.
That's cool. I really enjoyed that.
No, that was really good, mate.
It's good questions as well. I mean,
I already said that, and everyone took the piss out of it.
that's because you said it because it was your questions, which is not okay, hun. But that is because and I think you'll obviously get some people that will give better answers than others, but they get the right question gets the right answer from the right people.
This is what we wanted. We had our generic questions, but what we find is the best part is where you just go off on your tangent,
Exactly.
or it sparks a little
That's what
memory.
we were saying before.
That's
wasn't
what we
it?
were
Like,
saying.
Yeah. Like it's definitely, as they're going along, they're definitely getting better.
And if you get
a little
people
bit
in
more
like
natural and stuff.
me and Aaron, for instance, but you could get me in with one of the other boys,
Yeah.
and there'd be a whole lot different,
Yeah.
because you've got different memories coming
Absolutely.
up as well. So it just goes on and on. So it all depends on the dynamic of the people you've got in as well.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah, no,
Well,
definitely.
let's do it. Let's get more of their crew in.
Yeah, no,
To be fair, it's fun having a few of you as well because you sort of bounce off each other
Yeah,
as
we
well,
did-
didn't you?
okay.
Like,
exactly, a story will come up where you did this, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, but what about when we did that?
as well,
Your memories
like,
are different.
when you're doing it on your own, you're kind of like, oh, well, I've got to think, whereas it's easier when...
I think we put you on the spot a little bit last time because we didn't send you the question, did we?
No.
And after we did yours,
yeah, it
you
was nice
said,
that you guys sent me the question.
You actually said
You didn't
that
send
it'd
me
be
the
nice if you said it, which we
Yeah,
have
just
been
sort of
doing.
He's just
know it
disabled.
before a bit because then it's a bit like...
Put you on the spot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Fuck
Then
that,
what-
they're easy fucking questions. It's not like, oh, what's 600 times 94 minus 3 plus pi? He's just asking about his fucking cars. It's not fucking hard. It's the thing is, all these cars are fucking shit and crap and they ain't fucking fixed any of them. That's the problem. Yeah. Come.
Next time you have a cry,
Working on my own
myself.
car. Yeah, trot. Fucking 20 years later, all of your cars.
The Peugeot's alright.
What happened last time I tried to
no, it
pay
isn't.
someone?
If you jiggle something about, it don't fucking work. We nearly got it stolen in freaking France by the recovery company, and that ain't changed. It's the same fucking thing.
Last time I tried to pay someone, he
Yeah,
fucked
that's
up
because you
even
paid Down
worse.
syndrome.
He fucked it up.
Again, it was like, hey, you guys, I'll fix your Mercedes for you. Choke, I love candy.
The Mercedes.
Yeah.
I want to see that one as well.
You don't, it's fucking
So
shit.
does Aaron.
Oh, he sees
I've
it.
got it, yeah.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I got
Stole it
back.
back.
It's fucking missing loads.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What, they rubbed it off of it? Did
So
they?
put it on other cars that he was doing.
Did they?
No.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that Gary, G and Bodycraft Gary, is working on his car, who's actually taken this guy to court for
Yeah.
the work he did.
Yeah, because he did suspension, so he did air ride on it. So obviously, shock tower, shock should butt up and be nice with high tensile bolts and that. He just used threaded bar, and there's a gap about that between the shock tower and the shock.
It's just relying on the threaded bar to hold it together.
Yeah.
Like one drive, one bump, and it'd have gone.
This is on your map.
No, this is on another guy's car.
Oh,
but
right.
He didn't get that far, but doing good work for Aaron.
Yeah, he didn't even get that far.
No, he
so-
just took bits off and then put them on other people's cars.
and then painted it shit.
He used it
Yeah,
as a parts car.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it was.
cheeky,
Yeah, it
isn't
was real bad. Yeah, it's fucked.
And then he definitely got Stevie Wonder to paint it, didn't he?
Yeah, it is real bad, but we don't look at that one in a minute.
Yeah. I've seen less dirt in a bin than he's got under his paint.
Oh, really?
No, it's fucking. It could just be there for another time.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Right, we'll call that a day.
Yeah.
Do your
What
little
is the
bit.
time?
Like, comment, subscribe.
5. Yeah, like
Yeah,
comment,
sorry,
subscribe.
yeah. Tell them, like, comment, subscribe, plug your businesses really quickly.
Mazin Jones,
Landscape
landscaper.
gardening, Hairmasters, barbers.
Barbers, not hairdressers.
Unless you're a female, and then he'll hairdress you.
So for the 6 or 7 of you that watch, these two are you guys.
Yeah. There's merch available if you
Gasoline
want it.
Junkies, Cars and Chat.
And we'll see you next Tuesday. Cheers for that, guys. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
wicked.
that.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.